Hello, everybody. We are live. It is Monday, April 6th, 2026, and we have a lot to talk about today. Some of it is like a weekend roundup, and some of it is maybe didn't happen this weekend, but now is the time I've chosen to discuss. I'm going to read you off a list of some of the topics. Okay, but I reserve the right to change my mind. Okay. Sometimes I start this, I have intentions to talk about something, and I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like so, okay, these are the things on deck. Okay. In no particular order, we are going to talk about Kanye West. He had a concert. We're going to talk about some weekend updates on the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni saga. There's an update with Nova from Soft White Underbelly. Slash now no jumper. Her mom came out and called out Whack 100 for sharing the clip. Put one in the chat. You remember when I had to call the FBI because there was links on a Twitter account. It's now gone from what I understand. Although I gotta admit, I don't stay on top of it because I never want to see that again, just in case somehow it pops back up. Anyway, from what I understand, it's gone now. But I called the FBI. Put one in the chat. You remember I called the FBI and Crime Stoppers and everybody else. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that. There's an update there. We also have a whole section called officials behaving badly. Again, these are the contenders in that category. Bronx district attorney, running twice after already being caught trying to meet running away, not running for district attorney, running away after being caught trying to meet a 13-year-old. We got a bimbo, another one exposing dudes in DC. The rude judge, I have an update about him. He's bankrupt apparently. A Florida cop farted on another cop in their face and did have to go to extra training, so that's on the docket. Then we have a whole section. Now there's other stuff in there, but I don't want to read every single thing. I want to just give you the highlights. That's that's the section, officials behaving badly. There's a whole section called deception. That includes Becca Bloom fake Birkin allegations. More on the Charlie Kirk microphone theory. Possible disguises that Jeffrey Epstein is using walking around alive and well. Alec Baldwin is a weirdo. Okay, in the next section, missing scientists. Scientology influencing the president. We have a true crime section, open air hell prison section, in the news, pop culture. And then we also, just for fun, have, possible things that might come up, some like little other online goings around on the internet. Okay. Yes. Farted in his face. Yep. Or as they say in Louisiana, fought it. Yep. So yeah, please feel free to stick around for which topics you like and check back in later. It is going to be a long day, a long live stream, I should say. Okay. Let me get situated. I gotta sit on my foot. To concentrate. Anybody else have that problem? Okay, so let's just start with Kanye. I think that's like the most robust section of today's video. So he had a concert. So we'll start there. He did have a performance, you could say. Okay. So this is the, like stand account or whatever, where I got the information from at first, but it does link an article from Bloomberg. It says Ye sold 33 million. It's always 33 and 600 million. You know what I mean? 33 million worth of tickets across 2 nights in LA, because it's Los Angeles, including one of the highest grossing nights in music history. Okay, record breaking. Perhaps more significant, Spotify playlisted a song from his new album, and Live Nation is partners with the promoter for his show. So I don't really know what that, I don't know. Take with that with you what you will. I don't know if there's something supposed to be being implied here. Okay, like, why do I have to agree to contracts to read a freaking news article? It's kind of weird. Okay, so this article was written yesterday. It says, Ye just made 33 million in 2 nights. Will his comeback last? The music industry is tentatively embracing the artist formerly known as Kanye West. Good evening from Montreal, where I'm in between some curling and a hockey game. Girl, would you get into the article? Why do I need to know that? Yay. Pariah. Oh, industry pariah attempts a comeback. Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, has taken a couple of big steps toward turning his career around. He sold out 2 shows at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles this past week, earning $33 million, according to people familiar with the numbers. His Friday show earned more than $18 million in ticket sales, said the people. Okay, so who's the people? Those sources are people who know. People who know, people with knowledge, whatever they're saying. Declined to be identified. Data hasn't been cleared for public release. That is one of the highest grossing single shows in live music history, the 18 million in one night. 2 packed shows could be seen as a stunt or an aberration. For all his recent problems, Ye still has loyal followers. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to deny that he sold out the 2 shows that weekend. But it's not just the ticket sales. His new album, Bully, is going to be one of the best-selling albums in its debut week. Corporations, most of whom had distanced themselves from Ye, are willing to do business with him again. Okay, so just remember this article because everything's going to come crashing down by the end of this segment. Spotify puts songs from Bully on its top playlist. The song Father was the top track on Rap Caviar and was the top 20 on today's top hits. Live Nation, the world's largest concert promoter, is partners with hip hop impresario Rod Wave, whose company promoted the LA shows. The tentative embrace from fans and corporate America is a big step for an artist who has been a public pariah for the last 3 years due to his repeated public outbursts, often involving anti-Semitism. Is this the start of a stunning turnaround or the latest false promise from an artist who has been erratic? The most influential recording artist of the century. Wow, that's the most influential recording artist of the century. That's a big claim. I mean, there's probably some people who would beg to differ, but I think there's an argument to be made. Ye was once one of the highest paid acts in the music business. Every album sold millions of copies and every tour was a smash hit. He was also a fashion impresario with $1 billion business. Public bravado was part of his shtick, and companies tolerated his increasingly bizarre antics because he was viewed as a genius. Corporate America's patience ran out around 2022 when Kanye West talked about going DEFCON 3 on Bleep People. A couple months later, he expressed admiration and affection for infamous, historical war criminal Adolf Hitler. Instagram and Twitter cut off access to Kanye's accounts. Hollywood talent shop Creative Artist Agency said it would no longer book his tours. Rival agent Ari Emanuel called on businesses to cut ties, a rare case of alignment between Emanuel and CAA. So everybody that don't normally agree can agree on one thing. They did not want to support Kanye West, now known as Ye Ye. Adidas, Gap, and Balenciaga all ended their collaborations. That is rich. That is rich. Balenciaga acting like they got moral high ground on somebody. Oh my God, like they didn't put them little kids in that ad. They need to stay out of this and eat their food. Adidas, Gap, and Balenciaga all ended their collaborations with Ye Ye in 2022. Adidas sacrificed hundreds of millions of dollars by doing so. Music services like Spotify and YouTube declined to take his music down, saying it was up to the copyright holders. But Ye's music didn't violate Spotify's hate speech policy. The streaming service didn't exactly push his songs. They did later ban the song that glorified Hitler. Public reprobation left Ye isolated. His first attempt at a comeback was short-lived. In 2023, he apologized on Instagram in Hebrew ahead of the release of a new album, Vultures One, a collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign, debuted at number one. But just a year later, he described his new sound as anti-Semitic. It wasn't just corporate America that wrestled with Ye. His behavior forced his millions of fans to determine if they could separate the art from the artist. Was he a hateful person or just unstable and in the need of new medication? Hateful or in need of new medication? The question of the century for all of us, indeed. Even if he was hateful, did that mean you couldn't listen to certified bangers like Jesus Walks and All Falls Down? We all wrestled with these very questions. A substantial portion of his fan base decided to move on. Ye's most recent albums haven't sold well as the blockbusters previously had, and his touring business was non-existent. He hasn't staged a world tour since 2016's Life of Pablo, which was canceled prior to its conclusion and ended with Ye in the hospital. Yet, while there are some people who will never forgive him, it's clear that there are also millions of people around the world who still want to engage with his work. Kanye's monthly audience on Spotify is 72.4 million people. That's not nothing. Almost, close to 72 is over 72 million people just on Spotify, making him one of the 25 most popular acts in the world. And they said it before, there were certified bangers all up and down his catalog. And like a lot of us, because they were pushing his songs at the time. So it's like they were part of now all of like a lot of our like core memories, like growing up or starting college or whatever. It's like Kanye West music was everywhere. It was pushed. And so in a way, we kind of like grew up with it. And I haven't actually listened to too much of his new music, frankly, but like they're certified bangers. You got to admit it. Okay, so the next section in this Bloomberg.com article is the architect of a comeback. Some of the people around Ye say this time is different. He has planned his return with help from Larry Jackson, the founder and CEO of the independent music company Gamma. A former executive at Apple Music and mentee of industry legends Jimmy Iovine and Clive Davis. Oh my God, demons, I rebuke. Jackson, the guy that Kanye is now working with, has always excelled at artist relations. He has shown a particular knack for developing relationships with controversial artists whom others view as difficult. Oh, Lord, we got a new, Corey, Harvey, Harley, whatever, entering the chat here, this Larry Jackson. He has shown a particular knack for developing relationships with controversial artists whom others view as difficult, be they Travis Scott or Ye. Well, another way you could categorize this particular duo is former people that Lou Taylor tried to get her, paws and claws and talons into. Anyway, this guy that Ye is working with now signed Ye to a deal with Gamma, which is also home to Mariah Carey and Usher. Ye's effort at reconciliation began with an apology in the Wall Street Journal. He took out an advertisement in January, so just a couple months ago, apologizing to those he hurt and to the Black community. He also said that he was taking his medication and participating in therapy. Days later, he staged a performance in Mexico City. His corporate partners are proceeding with caution. Spotify didn't pay for billboards all over the world, as it will with some acts. The LA dates were promoted by Wave, an independent operator. Live Nation is a partner, but also had enough distance from the shows to protect itself if they went south. Okay, so Live Nation wants their hands in things, but they don't want they want to get paid for it, but they don't want the blowback if something happens. Okay, got it. Got it. Sounds about right. For those who know Ye, the question isn't whether he can keep himself stable for long enough to put an album or play a couple of shows. It's whether he can sustain it. So what's the difference between being able to sustain and being able to keep self-stable for long enough to put out an album? Like the question isn't whether he can sustain it. The question is whether he can sustain it. Like that's basically what this sentence says. Okay, anyway, the amount of money Americans spend on video hasn't grown. In 3 years, U.S. consumers spent $144 billion on video in 2025, the same sum they spent in 24 and 23. The number is barely budget. Okay, this has something to do with Kanye? Are we done? What the hell? Okay. So that was, okay, that's the first article I wanted to just tell y'all. Okay, so there's that. Like, there was these little think pieces and things and this and that. Here's TMZ kind of reporting on the same story, but hopefully somewhat different. Kanye called me the $33 million comeback kid. He hit the right notes during his 2 major shows in Los Angeles over the weekend, raking in a whopping $33 million as he wages a major comeback after his career was sidelined by his passion for a certain political and you know what party in Germany back in the 30s or whatever, according to a new report. Okay, Bloomberg. So that was the article that we read here. 18 million in ticket sales on Friday night alone, meaning it was one of the highest grossing single shows in the history of live music. Okay, so TMZ doesn't have an exclusive or anything, so I'm not going to read them. We just read the Bloomberg article already. So, as the Bloomberg article kind of discussed, what is going to happen after this fork in the road? Because, Kanye was like canceled off all kinds of stuff, and it's kind of all eyes on Kanye. He's definitely able to draw a crowd. Sure, he might have lost some of his some of his following, a substantial amount. Maybe his albums aren't doing as well, or maybe this and that isn't doing as well, but like he can still pull in one of the highest grossing concerts in music history, right? So, or live music history, whatever they said. So, up steps his next endeavor, which is headlining a festival over there in the UK. Shout out to the UK cousins. Oh, wait, that's not the one I wanted to do. Hold on. Let me just do like he's doing a festival. All right, let's go to this one here. This is the New York Times. This was published also yesterday. The same day as the one we just read from Bloomberg. Okay, so the New York Times, Pepsi drops sponsorship of London Music Festival headlined by Yale. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he was deeply concerned that Kanye had been booked to perform the wireless festival. Pepsi on Sunday, that's yesterday, said it was withdrawing its sponsorship of the 3-day wireless festival. It's called the Wireless Festival in London this summer, which is being headlined by Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West. Okay, so he was headlining this festival. He just set all these records with, people obviously want to go to his concerts, at least some people, $33 million worth. And then you get, hold on, sorry. Okay. You get this information that, what I wanted to tell y'all. So when you go and look up this festival, this wireless festival, let me see if it actually still shows up. Hold on. Well, I hate when it does that. Okay, they did take it down. Okay. So now when you go here, like you type in wireless festival, it'll say wireless festival. But earlier today, this crawler was even showing Pepsi Max presents the wireless festival. So it was like really heavily sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi Max presents. Pepsi Max presents. And Pepsi was the primary main sponsor of this music festival. It is a 3-day music festival in London. Okay. All hell just broke loose though. Carrie said, I am in the UK and no one cares what Keir Starmer says. Okay. So this is the New York Times article that we were already reading, came out today. Ye's participation in the festival was part of an effort by the artist to distance himself from a half-decade of anti-Semitic and racist controversies. The decision by Pepsi came, so Pepsi pulled out of sponsoring the festival, and it was like the main sponsor. Just hours after Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he was, quote, deeply concerned that Kanye had been booked to perform what organizers call London's ultimate summer music festival. Okay, so Keir Starmer had said to the Sun newspaper, quote, anti-Semitism in any form is abhorrent and must be confronted firmly wherever it appears. Everyone has a responsibility. Wow. Everyone has a responsibility to ensure Britain is a place where Jewish people feel safe. Okay, I really want y'all to listen to your prime minister. Okay, every single last one of y'all has a response. You are responsible for the feelings of an entire responsible. You're responsible to ensure their feelings. Okay. So that's crazy to me that y'all have a responsibility to ensure anybody's feelings, whatever group they came from or are a part of. That is so absolutely insane to me. But anyway, like, and yeah, I mean, don't be like an anti-Semitic a-hole. Obviously, please don't. That's messed up. But like, girl, we're saying everybody's responsible for feelings of whole group of people. Well, what if they just one of them didn't take their medicine that day or something? What do you mean the responsibility to ensure? To what extent? To what extent is the responsibility? Like, look here, in this particular case, it doesn't actually really matter that much because Kanye West American. He's not British. He's not British. That Estelle song comes to my mind. Estelle once said, "Tell me cool down, down." You know what I mean? Anyway, okay. So y'all got all that. All y'all got a big responsibility over there because the festival had been advertised as Pepsi Presents Wireless. But a statement issued by the company yesterday said Pepsi has decided to withdraw its sponsorship of Wireless Festival. They took their name off the side of the posters, y'all. It's not clear what Pepsi's decision will mean for the festival, which also lists Budweiser, PayPal, Beatbox, and several other major companies as corporate partners on its website. Kanye West has apologized this year for his anti-Semitic behavior, including the DEFCON 3 comment. He also apologized for doing the DJ Academics interview where he was wearing what appeared to be a black KKK uniform or robe. He also said in that ad in the Wall Street Journal that he hoped to be forgiven by those he hurt. Since then, so the Wall Street Journal puts Kanye in there doing his apology, and that's okay. This is where I start to have the questions. What's the rubric and who gets to decide? Because the Wall Street Journal took Kanye West money so he could say an apology. Is it like because he was apologizing? It's just it's unclear to me when some people can platform him and nobody says any issue. Other people can platform him by audience demand, but then that's when the issue comes up. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just confusing to me. Anyway, since then, the rapper has been seeking to return to public view in ways that do not create controversy. On Wednesday and Friday, Kanye performed at SoFi Stadium, which we discussed in the previous article, to promote the release of his new album, Bully. In addition to the appearance at the London Festival, he's also scheduled to perform elsewhere, Italy and Spain, this summer. But his effort at public rehabilitation has prompted outrage from many public figures in Britain. Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, said last week that Britain's Home Secretary should ban Kanye from even coming into the country. It's not clear whether Ye has applied for entry into Britain. For Mr. Starmer, that's the prime minister, the issue of anti-Semitism is a personal one. Okay, I'm not reading his whole, I got other stuff to do. Okay, he suggested a prime minister, DEFCON comment. Okay, so, all right, I think that's good enough for that article. Let's move to the next one. So, like I mentioned, it's confusing and difficult for me to keep up with which things are banned, which things are not allowed, and which groups of people's safety and feelings we're actually protecting and whose we're not. Okay. Where opinions or words to songs, while absolutely, I'm not even disagreeing that like he shouldn't have done and, said those things or whatever, but like barring someone entry into a country because of song lyrics. Okay, fine. But what about when people have like actually admitted to doing violent crimes against somebody in particular? Is that more or less or equally as dangerous as words in a song? This is not a rhetorical question. For example, Pepsi did not withdraw their sponsorship from Super Bowl, I don't know how to read Roman numerals, following news that convicted domestic abuser Dr. Dre would headline. Is he a convicted domestic abuser? Hold on. Okay, this article is more than 10 years old. By the way, this is a Guardian.com article. Dr. Dre apologizes for assaulting Michelle and Dee Barnes in the 90s. It has forever impacted all our lives, Dr. Dre said regarding his physical abuse of women, which was not addressed in the NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton. Oh, girl. He's apologized to R&B singer Michelle and journalist Dee Barnes, whose past accusations of abuse the rapper sorry. Dr. Dre has apologized to R&B singer Michelle and journalist Dee Barnes, whose past accusations of abuse. Dee Barnes, whose past accusations of abuse against Dr. Dre were notably absent from a recent documentary that just came out. So this is back in like 2016 or whatever. Straight Outta Compton. Remember that era that documentary had come out and everybody's wearing those Straight Outta shirts. The two women involved with Dre during the time period chronicled in the biopic have said the film failed to portray their experiences as it told the story of the group's history. Michelle, who said she was in a relationship with Dre from 1990 to 1996, said she was repeatedly beaten by him. And journalist Dee Barnes said Dr. Dre assaulted her at a party in 1991. Dr. Dre apologized. I apologize to the women I've hurt. I deeply regret what I did, and I know that it has forever impacted all of our lives. Dr. Dre pleaded no contest. Okay. He pleaded no contest to attacking Barnes and was given probation. The omission, so they left this out of the documentary apparently at the time. The omission of these, so the leaving out of these relationships from the documentary has become the focal point of criticism of the film, which took in $56 million during its opening weekend in the US. Okay, so this was like a movie that came out in movie theaters. Okay, I thought it was on Netflix for some reason. 25 years ago, I was a young man drinking too much and in over my head with no real structure in my life, Dr. Dre said. However, none of this is an excuse for what I did. I have been married for 19 years and every day I'm working to be a better man for my family, seeking guidance along the way. I'm doing everything I can so I never resemble that man again. Apple released a statement. He said he made some horrible mistakes in his life. In a Rolling Stone interview, I was young, stupid. I would say all the allegations are, he said, I would say all the allegations aren't true, but some of them are true. Those are some of the things that I would like to take back. It was really effed up, but I paid for those mistakes. And there's no way in hell I will ever make another mistake like that ever again. Okay, so no contest to attacking a woman. And, in this tweet, it's like, wait, Pepsi didn't unsponsor the Super Bowl halftime show. They had Dr. Dre right there. They advertised him in the advertising materials. And so, obviously domestic abuse or battery isn't, or assault or violence isn't the same thing as a song lyric that's anti-Semitic or racist. I'm obviously not saying those are the same things, but he said some of the allegations are true. He pleaded no contest. He got probation. So interesting. I just want to know what's the rubric in the Pepsi backrooms of like which things get, no, we can't sponsor that, and which things get this. I just want to know, because to me it's kind of confusing, like which things they're willing to sponsor and not. No, I'm not saying they should have to sponsor something they deem to be, or someone they deem to be anti-Semitic. I'm not saying that. They have the right to sponsor or not sponsor whatever they want. It's capitalism. It's a free country. But I'm just curious as to why, we got to worry about a whole group of one people's feelings. But what about women who want to feel safe? What about the Jewish people in England that would feel perfectly safe if Kanye West came? You care about their feelings? Yes or no? No, only if the ones that don't feel safe. So then you have to ensure it's your responsibility. Okay, fine. Is it also your responsibility then to ensure that all the women feel safe? All the journalists feel safe. All the celebrities feel safe because, you know, D is a journalist. What about isn't it also your responsibility to make all the victims of abuse feel safe? So then why would Pepsi sponsor that? I don't exactly know what Pepsi's reason was. You know, I am kind of like conflating the two because like Keir Starmer's saying one thing, Pepsi's saying another thing. And guess what? Pepsi's not the only sponsor of the festival to pull out. They were the main ones. They were the biggest sponsors. But it's interesting because I just want to know why exactly. The place where they made the comment was here in this CNN article. So let's take a look at this one. Kanye West was booked as a festival headliner. Brands are now pulling their sponsorship. Pepsi and brewery company Diageo. Remember that was the one related to connected in, you know, a business relationship with Diddy. Diageo, and then he sued them for like racial discrimination. And then that was the same year all hell started to break loose. Then Cassie sued him, and then Lil Rod sued him. And then the next thing you know, the feds are raiding his apartment, his house, or whatever, his hotel room, and all that. So Diageo, they were also sponsors of this London's Wireless Festival, but they're now pulling their sponsorship of the festival. And they pulled their no. Okay. After it was announced that Ye would headline the 3-day event. He faced backlash in recent years after making repeated offensive remarks. Okay, Pepsi was the main sponsor of Wireless, the festival, which will be held in London's Finsbury Park from July 10th to 12th. Pepsi has, okay, this is the quote. Okay, the spokesperson for Pepsi told this to CNN on today. This came out today. Quote, Pepsi has decided to withdraw its sponsorship of Wireless Festival. Okay, that's all they said. But why? Now, Diageo, which owns brands such as Guinness, Bailey's, Smirnoff, Ciroc. Remember Ciroc is the one from, you know, Diddy would promote, and wireless partners Captain Morgan and Johnny Walker. So these were the partners in the Wireless Festival were Captain Morgan and Johnny Walker. These brands are both owned by Diageo. So Captain Morgan and Johnny Walker are no longer sponsoring the festival, and neither is Pepsi. Okay, the spokesperson for Diageo told CNN, quote, we have informed the organizers of our concerns, and as it stands, Diageo will not sponsor the 2026 Wireless Festival. And this as it stands, I think this as it stands, I think means because you have Kanye. If you take Kanye out, we'll go back to sponsoring you. That's kind of how I read that, but that's just my opinion of this public statement they put out. CNN has reached out to Wireless Festival and other partners for comment. Okay, so Wireless Festival hasn't commented, and other partners haven't commented, the ones that they didn't say. West, who previously said he had bipolar disorder before saying last year he had been misdiagnosed and instead has autism, took out a full-page advertisement in the Wall Street Journal in January to apologize for his previous comments. He said, quote, I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. In that fractured state, I gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the stika, and I even sold t-shirts bearing it. Wireless Festival is one of the UK's biggest music festivals, attracting up to 150,000 attendees each year. Festival organizers announced last week on March 30th that Kanye, who has not performed in the UK since 2015, would be the headliner for all 3 days of the festival, and that sparked some controversy. Okay, we already talked about the prime minister. I don't feel like reading that again. I'm not reading all that. Okay, in 2022, Adidas, we already read that. Okay, so that was the quote from Pepsi, you know, very vague. They don't really say why they pulled out of the festival, but they're just not doing it anymore. Okay, but Kanye, yay, is not the only one facing backlash. Pepsi itself has lost 10% of their stock price following, you know, the announcement. Pepsi stock has gone down by over 10% today after the corporation announced it had officially withdrawn its sponsorship of Wireless Festival due to Ye being announced as headliner. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how to read the stock market. Let me see if I can Pepsi stock goes down. Kanye. Stock price. Okay, it doesn't look like it went down 10%. It looks like it went down like 1%. I don't know how to read stocks, to be honest. I think it's all fake. Actually, I think it's all made up. But anyway, I don't know if that's true or not, but I did want to include that little link. Y'all can, maybe send me some proof if you find it, or maybe it's fake. I'm not trying to say that that's a fact. It's a tweet. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so here is the sponsor list if you're curious. This was the original sponsors. Many have now, of course, obviously pulled out, as we just read. Pepsi, look, headline partner. The other partners, Captain Morgan, they're out. Johnny Walker, they're out. I also read somewhere that PayPal is out, and I read that Rockstar Energy is out. Okay, so this is what we're working with here. I have a few more links. Maybe there's something. Right. Here's the Rockstar Energy tweet I saw. Rockstar Energy is withdrawing its sponsorship of Wireless Festival in light of Ye headlining the event. It is now the fourth brand to distance itself from the festival, following Pepsi, Diageo, and PayPal. And this was via Far Out magazine. Okay, so, and that's all okay, the festival is one thing, right? Like whether the festival decides to have him headline or not. But if the festival still wants him to headline, they trying to kick him they trying to bar him from the country. Ye is facing calls to be banned from entering the UK ahead of Wireless Festival, as Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp urges the Home Secretary to block his entry. So this is supposedly a letter that was sent today. Secretary of State for the House Home Department, Shabana Mahmood, MP. Dear Shabana, I'm writing to urge you to prevent Kanye West, now known as Ye, from traveling to the United Kingdom ahead of his planned appearance at the Wireless Festival in London this July. This is crazy. Given his repeated anti-Semitic remarks, including statements expressing sympathy for a certain party of Germany in that time that, infected and all ideology, his return to the UK is deeply concerning. They don't want him to come to the country. This is not a one-off lapse. This is a pattern of behavior. Spelled wrong, girl. Y'all drop that "you," please. That has caused real offense, which spelled wrong again. This is how you know. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but in the US, we don't put that "you" right there. Like in behavior, we spell it with just O. And the same with offense. We don't spell it with the C. It's an S. I don't know why. I think it had something to do with Benjamin Franklin. But anyway, this is not a one-off lapse. The member of the Shadow Home Secretary says this is not a one-off lapse, but a pattern of behavior that has caused real offense. Okay, nobody that has caused real offense and distress to the Jewish communities is allowed in the whole UK. Okay, that's crazy. His partial apologies have been retracted in the past and do not atone for what he has said. Oh, you better atone. Both the Community Security Trust and the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism have been clear. Ye should not come. The Home Secretary has powers under the Immigration Act of 1971 to exclude individuals whose presence is not conducive to the public good. You can also apply these powers more recently. They refused entry to Eva Vlarding-der-Broek. The same principle. I don't know who that is, girl. At a time when anti-Semitism is rising in the UK. Is it really? Okay. I'm not going to get in all that. But yeah, okay. So the politicians are trying to keep it where he's out of the country. But again, I just want to renew my question. What are the rules for getting kept out of a country? Okay. Because I'm not even able to show you the tweet because of the picture on the tweet. But I'm going to read the tweet. Someone said, didn't stop them from letting Chris Brown perform twice there last year after being convicted for beating Rihanna within an inch of her life, did it? Guess Tottenham have no links to women or decency or the mentally ill or forgiveness, and place the Jewish community above all else. And let me pull up this picture because I can show you this one. Breezy Bowl XX. Okay, this Live Nation event, Stadium World Tour, Chris Brown. Now, I don't want to even get into whether or not somebody who has a prior conviction or prior allegation should be barred, should be blacklisted. I'm not trying to argue about who should and shouldn't be. What I'm trying to understand is the standards. Because these other two guys, one of them, Pepsi, still kept sponsoring the event of the Super Bowl, even though Dr. Dre was in it. So Pepsi, what's Pepsi's rules? What to sponsor an event or a musical event, a stadium thing. Number two, the government, the UK, a lot of the leaders in the UK government are trying to keep Kanye West out of the country, which, okay, fine. But can I please just understand? I mean, they don't owe me an explanation by any means, but it doesn't seem like they're too keen on explaining themselves to anybody, even the people they do owe an explanation to. What is the rubric and whose feelings and where does the line get drawn? I haven't seen like a particularly compelling reason that we should go out of our way and only protect, and governments and society should go out of our way to only protect specifically one religion. Like, why isn't it that anybody that's made like a negative comment about Christians also has to be banned from countries and Pepsi can't sponsor? Because certainly, like, there's a lot of evidence of anti-Christian sentiment, and I'm not even saying like woe is me because I don't practice Christianity. I'm not a member of Christians. I'm not a Christian. So I've seen people I think people are kind of scared to make negative remarks about Islam, which, I mean, good. People shouldn't make negative remarks about people's religions, but like Catholicism in particular, Christianity, other religions, Quakers and Amish, everybody else is fair game. But you need an act of the British Parliament when Kanye's about to come do it. But why? That's my question. I just don't get it. Like, I'm truly like, I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, people should be anti-Semitic. I think that's terrible. It's really terrible to categorize one person based on a whole group of people. But I also think it's terrible to say that you, as a member of society, are responsible for the feelings, literally, of an entire group. What is it? In a religion? Is it an ethnic group? I really don't even know. Because sometimes it's like I don't see these people even practicing that religion. It's like they're ethnically that. So it's like, wait, there's ethnic religions. I'm curious. I'm just confused. I'm not saying these festivals and things don't have the right to Pepsi don't have the right to say, I don't want to have Pepsi logos everywhere with Kanye West singing songs glorifying this stuff. I don't want to. They shouldn't have to. But now we're talking about banning people from countries. Several countries. UK is like a few countries, isn't it? I don't get it. I just like Chris Brown can go over there and do 2 concerts last year. He was convicted of beating a crime. Wasn't he? I mean, that's what the tweet said. I don't know. We could go look it up again. So now there's a conspiracy theory. What if it's not nothing to do with anti-Semitism, and instead, this is a conspiracy theory I saw online. I'm going to show you all the links. I'm not saying it's my theory. Okay, I just saw it online. But a conspiracy theory, what if this has kind of like not really actually anything to do with anti-Semitism, but it's Jay-Z trying to sabotage Kanye because so they don't have to go be at doing concerts the same weekend as each other. Okay, so here's some fan speculation. Just some speculation. Rock Nation trying their damnedest to get Ye's Wireless Festival canceled. LOL. What are they so afraid of? Again, this is just fan speculation on a tweet, y'all. It's probably from a Stan account. But look, somebody else said, did I not? Maybe I didn't copy this tweet down. I thought that was that tweet. But I saw somewhere on a tweet, it was like that the reason that Kanye is getting canceled is because Jay-Z doesn't want to go head to head with him the same weekend. Look at this. Jay-Z supposedly sold out show July 10th, 2026. July 10th. Okay. Where? Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Remember he announced his little comeback? He had, also he's doing Saturday, July 11th and Sunday, July 12th. Okay. So you could, I guess, still buy tickets here. It's saying sold out, but it's also giving me the option to buy tickets. Let me see. Why is it saying sold out? I can buy tickets. That's not sold out, right? I mean, they're expensive. Oh, it's resale tickets. What the hell? Oh, aren't they in federal court for this right now? Like scalpers buy the tickets up and then they all resell them on this website. Anyway. So look. This is livenation.com. This is livenation.com. Supposedly sold out, but there's tickets, lots of tickets for resale. So I don't know whatever that's about. And Friday, July 10th, 11th, or Saturday 11th, Sunday the 12th. Okay, so Jay-Z is going to be there. Okay, cool, great, awesome. Well, guess what weekend? The Wireless Festival is happening the same weekend, the same days, July 10th, July 11th, July 12th. So the fans are speculating Jay-Z this is a conspiracy, okay? I'm not even saying I believe it. Again, hey, Alec Spiro, I know y'all be watching. Love you, mean it. I'm just speculating based on fan tweets, okay? Go sue them. The fans are speculating, okay? But the fans are speculating that Jay-Z didn't actually really sell out his concert. He basically made a company that bought all the tickets up to make it look like he sold out, but Kanye festival is actually going to get sold out and Jay-Z got embarrassed. This is a whole fantastical, delusional speculation fan theory, but I don't know, it's a conspiracy theory I'm actually interested in, if you know what I mean. She is who I'd like to be said I fully believe, or full-heartedly believe that is much more of a realistic scenario. Jay-Z bought his own tickets. People are speculating. People are going to show up for Ye way more than Jay. Who wants to go head to head with Kanye West? Not me. Not me. Jay-Z wanted to prove that despite the negativity in the media about him, people will still support him with 2 sold-out stadium shows, but his arch nemesis, Kanye, did it first. So the fans are out here speculating and theorizing, okay? And I prefer to kind of believe we live in a world where it's more likely it's just battling PR teams like that. But I do couldn't, what's the word? I do condemn anti-anything-ism. Well, not anything. Some things I'm actually in support of. If you are very biased and prejudiced against PDF files, that's fine with me. I'm not against that. You can do that. But I don't think that anybody should be being hateful to somebody based on the group of people that they're in. Unless it's something that I can think is justified, like PDF files. That's basically my point. Okay. Like disliking them. Okay. So that was the story of the Kanye West saga, at least as much as I had been able to find before my live today. And I want to now move to the next section of the video. This is the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni saga. Okay, so the last video I made over here, the last live stream I did was going over the Blake Lively stuff. We read through the whole opinion and order from the judge dismissing 10 out of 13 of the Blake Lively counts. If y'all have not watched that, I do recommend you go over there and watch it. It is very long. It's 4 hours almost of me just breaking down that judge's opinion and order. It's very thorough. And the trial for the case starts next month. So if you go check that video out, you will see, I think, everything you need to see, everything you need to know on what's still on the table. It is long. You can watch it at, 1.5 the speed probably. But if you watch that video, you will know what's still on the table for trial, what may leave off the table by the time trial starts and all that. So that was the last live I did, not only on this topic, but actually on the whole channel. And I have some updates that occurred after I did that live and after the weekend, over the weekend rather. Hold on, let me close some of these tabs. I can feel my computer getting hot. Okay. So moving on to the Blake Lively section. Of the video. Blake Lively breaks silence. Okay, this was from April 2nd, 4 days ago. Blake Lively breaks silence on bombshell ruling in Justin Baldoni case. Blake Lively reacts to bombshell ruling. She's looking forward to facing. Okay, girl, can we? Blake Lively is looking forward to facing Justin Baldoni in court during their upcoming trial, despite the fact that all but 3 of her claims got dismissed. So she only got 3 claims alive and well. Her lawyer said, quote, "This case has always been and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation and the extraordinary steps the defendants took to destroy Blake Lively's reputation. Because why? Because she stood up for safety on the set, and that is the case that is going to trial." The second part is true. That is the case that is going to trial. I'm not sure if that's what Sigrid McCauley had said the case was always about, per se, but I'll let her just, say that for now. She added, Blake Lively's lawyer, quote, "The greatest measure of justice is that the people in the playbook behind these coordinated digital attacks have been exposed." That is true. I do think that is the best justice that has happened, because it's now pretty much common knowledge that these smear campaigns exist. We can bury anyone, utterly untraceable. It's now been exposed that happens through Reddit and other social media platforms, including Twitter. That includes communicating with YouTubers. That includes suing YouTubers and making them suffer if they speak out against you. It's a lot of that type of stuff has now come out to light and been exposed. And people being held accountable by other women they have targeted. They're already being held accountable by other women they have targeted. And this circles back around to the Rebel Wilson. We also have Alexa Nicholas. The Gossip Girl alum, that's Blake Lively, looks forward to testifying at trial and continuing to shine a light on this vicious form of online retaliation so that it becomes easier to detect and fight. Okay, that's her. That would be nice. If we could make it easier to detect and fight these online retaliation groups, then I think I would have a very strong legal case. You know what would be really nice? If there was like a group of lawyers that came together and did, like, how there's like ambulance chasers. If there was like lawyers that came together and you can like find like, oh, I have evidence that, you've been targeted by a retaliation campaign. Here's a list of lawyers that'll take your case for free. Unless they make money or something. I don't know. I just think that would be one way to make it easier. The attorney concluded as harassment isn't going forward, not because, oh wait, hold on. Okay, her lawyer went on to say, as harassment isn't going forward, not because the defendants did nothing wrong, but because the court determined Blake Lively was an independent contractor, not an employee. That's not exactly what the court concluded or determined. And if you want to know what exactly they concluded or determined, go and watch my video, my most recent live before this one. Following the news on Thursday, in which the judge dismissed all of Blake Lively's harassment claims, not just the employment-based ones, but also the civil one. She the judge allowed in, though, to stay in claims for breach of contract, retaliation, and aiding and abetting in retaliation to proceed. Those went forward. Okay. Then Page 6 got a comment from Brian Friedman. "We are very pleased the court dismissed all harassment claims and every claim brought against all of the individual defendants." Because the only claims that are alive and well and surviving now are just claims against the corporate entities. All the claims against all individual defendants have been dismissed. That's against Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Melissa Nathan, and Jennifer Abel, who are the PR people, Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel. Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Steve Sarowitz are all from the Wayfarer defendants companies. And all of them have gotten dismissed off the case as defendants, except just the companies remain. Some of them. Alexandra Shapiro, that was Diddy's lawyer, but now is representing Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer defendants, from what I understand. And Jonathan Bach also was Diddy's lawyer in his criminal case, federal, told Page Six in a statement, these were very serious allegations, and we are grateful to the court for its careful review of the facts, the law, and voluminous evidence that was provided. They concluded, what's left is a significantly narrowed case, and we look forward to presenting our defense to the remaining claims in court. After months of rumored tension amid promotional events for It Ends With Us, in which Baldoni directed and Lively co-starred in, Lively filed a complaint accusing Baldoni. We know that. We knew that. Oh, my Lord. That was from the movie filming. Now, Brian Friedman, an attorney for Justin Baldoni, told Page Six at the time that he and Baldoni remain fully committed to pursuing the truth through every legal and factual avenue available, and noted that they were focusing on Miss Lively's claims. The co-stars faced each other in a Manhattan court on February 11th for a settlement conference, which was ultimately labeled unsuccessful by Friedman in comments to Deadline. Baldoni returned to court again the next day, though Lively did not appear to attend. As the drama escalated, a number of A-list celebrities, including Lively's former BFF Taylor Swift, they're going formal now, and Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife Scarlett Johansson, appeared in a deluge of unsealed documents earlier this year. Baldoni and Lively's trial date is set for May 18th. Okay, so which ones did I? Okay, so then here is the Baldoni lawyer, what's his name, Brian Friedman, speaking out. Blake can't handle the truth, and the judge saw it. Justin Baldoni's high-powered lead attorney, Brian Friedman, is taking a victory lap after a judge tossed Blake Lively's harassment claims against his client, saying the truth has prevailed. Friedman issued an exclusive statement to TMZ Friday morning following the judge's Thursday ruling to spike Lively's claims in her lawsuit that Justin sexually harassed her on the film set It Ends With Us. Blake had previously claimed, as you all know, that Justin kissed her during a scene where the script didn't call for the two to smooch. She also alleged Justin Baldoni stepped inside her trailer as she was breastfeeding. Blake also then went on to accuse one of the film's producers of showing her a video of his wife giving birth. In his statement, Brian Friedman, this is Justin Baldoni's lawyer, said since the first day of this case, when Justin and the other defendants were blindsided by these allegations, they weren't blindsided, girl. They were preparing a PR campaign to combat them. The legal team on the ground from the beginning has worked extremely long days and nights defending this case through transparency by releasing the actual truthful text messages and welcoming and facilitating the release of all documents exhibiting the truth. Friedman went on, the defendants were not afraid of the truth. The plan was not only to speak the truth, but also show that same truth over and over again through the presentation of actual evidence. Neither Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, nor any of the other defendants have ever engaged in sexual harassment of Blake Lively. Despite our clients being accused of DARVO, which is deny, attack, reverse victim offender, in defending these claims, and despite the client being referred to in writing as a predator, what I said on behalf of our clients day one and every day since is true, Brian Friedman said. Our clients are very good people who have not engaged in harassment as alleged. As such, they have deserved a vigorous defense, which was led through transparency. He wrapped it up by saying it is gratifying to see the court's ruling confirms what the legal team believed from day one. As we previously reported, says TMZ, Blake's attorney Sigrid McCauley told TMZ after the judge tossed 10 of Blake's 13 claims that this case has always been focused and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation and the extraordinary steps the defendants took to destroy Blake's reputation because she stood up for safety on the set, and that is the case that's going to trial. As harassment isn't going forward because of a technicality, she basically says. And okay, but that's not exactly true. I don't really feel like getting into like all the specific ins and outs because I literally talked about this case for like almost 4 hours the other day. And I just wanted to do the updates here. But Blake Lively also kind of like, I don't know, kind of like sort of started spiraling, it seems, online, or at least whoever had the key, the login to her Instagram account. Here is a fan Twitter post. Blake Lively is in full meltdown mode with the non-stop Instagram stories posting quotes from filings, trying very desperately to prove she didn't lose like most people think she did. At this point, someone should probably take her phone away because this crash out is not stopping. Okay, so let's see what Blake Lively had actually put on her what was it? Instagram stories. So this was on April 3rd. So 3 days ago. So like Friday, or maybe it was Thursday. I think it was Friday though. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Yeah, this was been Friday. Official statement. Mike Gottlieb, attorney for Blake Lively. I'm not reading the official statement, girl. No, you couldn't even pay me. They would have to sponsor my video. It looked like ChatGPT formatted it. I'm not reading it right now. No. But look, here's the quotes that Blake Lively was putting on her Instagram stories. Quote, Lively has come forward with affirmative evidence supporting her claim, both with respect to the Wayfarer parties following through on their intent to spread negative content about her, and with respect to Wallace's technological capabilities in doing so. Now, that just looks like something a PR company put out. Like Blake Lively has like PR for this lawsuit. That's what it looks like to me. And they kind of were like, oh, look, this looks like, something favorable. And it is part of the ruling that was favorable to Blake. I could see why a PR company would want to put it out. There's another quote that she put on her Instagram stories that comes immediately next. Quote, there is also some direct evidence, and they put that in bold, that the plan to destroy Lively in her career was put into action. In addition to boosting videos of himself, a jury could find that these efforts were proactive and in line with Baldoni's desire to feel like Lively can be buried. That was page 133. Page 116, she puts another quote, a person in her position could have understood the workplace to at times reflect a gendered and sexualized view of women and a disregard for their privacy, sufficient to make it reasonable to complain about a hostile work environment based on S or gender. So she's posting this, okay? Quote, viewed in the light most favorable to Lively, there is also sufficient evidence that it was reasonable for her to believe that the Wayfarer parties harassed her by creating a hostile working environment. Given the nature of the response, a jury could find that the Wayfarer parties were motivated not just by fear of what would be disclosed, but by the protected actions Lively had taken. Okay. She also submitted expert reports that tend to support her allegations. And a lot of people were kind of dragging this one because they were like, what? She's not going to submit expert reports that go against her allegations. Of course, she's going to submit reports that boost her allegations. But, she did. And at this point in the trial, or excuse me, at this point pre-trial in the lawsuit, that is all the judge is allowed to go by. Like, is there sufficient evidence to allow this to go forward to a jury? Lively has also submitted expert reports that tend to support her allegations that there was an online campaign to manipulate public opinion and discussion against her. Thus, a jury could find that the Wayfarer parties waited to exact their retaliation at an opportune time. Lively has identified evidence that if credited, so she's posting and posting and posting. These are just different. There's another one. There's another one. And there's enough evidence to bring the issue of Lively's protected activity before a jury. Finally, a jury could also find that the Wayfarer parties understood that Lively thought they had behaved in a discriminatory manner. So she's posting. So that was her, I guess that was her response to it all. That was her statement. And then I already did the Brian Friedman speaks out. Okay, so that actually concludes the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni saga section of today's video. So we can put what would you say, a bookend on that one? Okay. So the next section I want to talk about, the next topic up for discussion right now is going to be the Tanea, Nova, soft white underbelly, no jumper, Adam 2216, Grand Mason, Ant, Heffy, Whack 100 portion of the video. Okay. So hold on, let me get my little links situated here. Okay. So I actually decided today that I'm going to make an entire documentary about this update on BJ Investigates. Okay. But I wanted to bring it to y'all's attention first as well. Put a 3 in the chat if you remember the whole Nova saga. She originally 13 years old back at I think the end of 2022 appeared on Soft White Underbelly. That was Mark Lata's channel. She had on the bikini top and it was see-through, and she talked about some horrible type of things in the video. She talked about type of work that is illegal for someone of her age to engage in, but more importantly, illegal for someone who is an adult to engage with, if you know what I mean. She talked about where she worked. She talked about whether or not she had a PXMP. She talked about her bad relationship with her mom, how she used to have a pretty normal life living with her grandparents in Beverly Hills area. And then she went back with her mom and started learning, things of a lifestyle, certain lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera. And so Tanea, she went on No Jumper recently and she did an update here. So just to remind y'all, so what had happened with Nova, that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago. Mark Lata had her, Nova, 13 years old, on Soft White Underbelly. It was in December or so, 2022, I believe. It might have been 23. Might have been 2023. I don't exactly remember, but it was years ago. It might have been 2023. So that video goes viral because it was it was heartstring pulling, gut wrenching, and also had a child that was completely uncensored and exposed through a very see-through top. And it was child. So eventually the video did end up getting censored, but then from what I understand, an uncensored version of it was then made available behind a paywall. And now from what I understand, even now the one behind the paywall is censored. Okay. But there was some uncensored, basically what it appeared to me. And I think it's fair to categorize it as inappropriate at best material of a child, and what type of a child in the worst. Okay. So I think it was inappropriate in the best. Okay. And illegal at worst. Okay. But however, Mark Lata is innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't been accused by any law enforcement sources as committing a crime. Not saying he committed a crime, but I'm asking, shouldn't it be? But anyway, so there was that. Then a totally separate issue arose years later and ended up putting Nova in the crosshairs yet again. And this had to do with that second RICO, the Hoover Street, the Who's RICO, not to be confused with the Big U enterprise. So there was the Big U one, which is kind of covering similar geographic territory. And then there was and also mentioned No Jumper podcast, but then there was another RICO that had to do with you know what, kind of trafficking of people who are under the age of consent, and also had to do with kidnapping, uh, people trafficking, and I think also mentioned an unaliving as well. And so, I mean, this is a very serious RICO allegation. Many people are currently, as we speak, incarcerated, locked up, awaiting trial. There's going to be trial. I think it's a federal case as well in the California, Los Angeles district area. And so it's a serious thing. Well, like I said, that lawsuit does allege that there was a minor victim, and it doesn't say the person's exact name, and it wouldn't, because not only is this person a victim, nobody's name that's a victim. It's usually going to be some type of like Jane Doe, Mia Doe, whatever. It's usually never gonna say the victim's name. Plus, even if it's not a victim, usually if it's a child, a minor, they also won't name the name. So this RICO lawsuit comes out against the Hoovers, and that's the one that's led by Amaya Armstead, Lady Duck. They're putting tattoos on these little girls. They're forcing them to work. According to allegations. I don't know if any of this is true. I never saw it with my eyes. I don't know. I wasn't there. These are the allegations. But the allegations are serious and up to unaliving. One of the allegations was that this Amaya Armstead was like, I'm tired of this girl. Do you want to buy her? Otherwise, I'm selling her for organ trafficking. Like, that's one of the allegations. So, pretty serious. And then ATM Richie and some other degenerated buffoons started to bring in this little girl, Nova. Okay, they started to bring her in these online content discussions, not her specific, like physically, but her as a topic. And they'd be like, it's Nova. Nova's the 14-year-old in the lawsuit. And she's the one, this, that, the other. Now, just to be very clear, I don't know if it is Nova, the one in the lawsuit, or not. The one that they were trying to pin Nova on, it couldn't have been Nova because the years of when she was a certain age don't add up. But there are ones in that lawsuit that were one that's a minor that her age perhaps did line up. And I don't remember which one is which, but Nova starts getting brought back up in discussion, but this time in relation to, did she snitch? Did she snitch on this criminal, alleged accused criminal? I don't know if he is or isn't yet. I mean, his trial hasn't come. But did she snitch on this person or that person for the RICO? And then Adam 2216, Grand Mason of Nashua, had not only the little girl who literally still was years away from turning 18, albeit she wasn't 13 anymore, like the first time she came on Mark Late's channel or whatever, but she comes on there and then he starts asking her about like snitching on the RICO criminals, alleged criminals. And not only did Adam bring her on, the child, the 16-year-old on, he brought her mom on too. And they just both sat there and talked about, like, you know, snitching or not snitching or whatever. And I'm like, this is putting this little girl yet again in danger. This is horrible. In danger. And her own mom's sitting up there condoning it. Okay. So then that was the second big thing. Then I'm like obviously really concerned about Nova, right? And I subscribed to her YouTube channel, which her YouTube channels get taken down and then she'll put another one up. So one day I wake up early in the morning. It's like I'm doing my makeup, got to do my makeup before work or whatever. And I turn something on YouTube. I just pulled YouTube up rather. And on the front homepage of my YouTube channel, it's like my suggested is one of Nova's videos. She had just put it out like, I don't know, a few hours before. I click on the video. The video is like mostly fine. There's some stuff in it. You know, I've talked about this so many times. I'm not going to get into it again, but there's some stuff in it that I feel like, you know, shouldn't be aired. It definitely violates the terms, like her being solicited by what sounds and appears to be a grown man off the camera, you know, out of the reach of the camera, her doing some substances that I don't think are legal, her driving a car when I don't think she's old enough for a license in California, things like that. But for the most part, okay, fine, whatever. It's like, that's the general tone. But the whole time the video is playing, she has this link set up, like not link that you can click on, but it's like, you know, just like kind of how you see I'll have like that banner at the top. It's kind of like something like that down below. And it says her Twitter. I'm like, okay, let me go follow her Twitter because I follow this story for my job. Well, I go to the Twitter, y'all, and I see some things unspeakable. I'm not even going to even describe it. I'm not going to, but it's stuff that shouldn't be on Twitter at all whatsoever. I immediately reported it. And I immediately called the authorities, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the FBI. I called the FBI multiple times. I called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children multiple times, because not only was this account not being taken down, there every time I would go to it to see, and again, when I would go to the account, I said this before, but just to reiterate, everything I had reported would disappear. It would go away. I couldn't see it. So I'm safe to go back over there because it's reported and it's taken down. But a few times I would go back over there and there would be more. There would be more. And a lot of it was more extreme and more. And I'm seriously, literally still traumatized. I don't think I'm ever going to be the same person I was before I had to see that horrible stuff. But I freaked out. I kept reporting it to the FBI. And eventually I couldn't even go on. I didn't even want there to be a chance they put more up. And it was just so infuriating because nobody was taking this account down. And it's like so hard to report this stuff because you don't want to be sharing the link. You don't want to be telling people how to get to it, of course, but like, how do you get it taken down? It was shocking. It was eye-opening. It was traumatic. And I made several videos about this during the time that it was going on. And several videos on BJ Investigates. And on those videos on BJ Investigates, I called out a familiar cast and crew of people. Now, a lot of people, most people who saw those videos obviously appreciated it because y'all have sense. But some few of the people who happen to have affiliations and associations with No Jumper and or Soft White Underbelly, they started calling me anything but a child of God. They started calling me names. They started calling me racist, Karen. They started saying I need to mind my own business. I don't need to be snitching. I don't need to be telling and tattletelling on this person and that person, all because I'm not from there and I don't understand the culture. A little girl. I sat down in my desk in my house in Princeton, New Jersey to do my makeup one morning. And that little girl put that stuff right there. Excuse me, I shouldn't say that little girl put that stuff because you want to know the truth? I don't know who put that up there. That could have been a man. That could have been a woman. That could have been her mama. That could have been a pimp. I don't know who put that up there. I don't know who put that up there. But the fact that it was of, a little girl, and I'm like, I'm calling the cops. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, right around and during that time, a lot of the familiar characters on on No Jumper, a lot of the familiar characters were saying some little girls be fast and grown and thrust theyself into the lifestyle, etc. Hold on. Okay. So I'm like, okay, but okay. So then right around this, incident or whatever, Adam 22, No Jumper guy, he's on live and he asks Whack 100. He asks Whack 100, the pawpaw of No Jumper, why he sent him. Adam's like, hey, yo, why did you send me child pornography? You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that. Why did you send me that? Why did you send me that? And Whack's like, oh, that was my team. They sent a link. I did a video about this. I did a video reaction to it. Anyway, it was basically like, Whack or his team sent a link to Adam. Now, Adam claimed he did not click the link. Maybe he didn't. He might actually have enough sense not to have clicked that because it's traceable. So he gets a Twitter, and again, y'all, this is on Twitter or x.com. This is not on OF. This is not on Cornhub. This is not on any of that. This is on Twitter, on a regular, just out in the open Twitter. And it wasn't even doing the graphic content warning before it started playing. It just was just there playing. Okay. So around the time all of it happened was a few months ago. Adam told him, 6-8 months. It was in September or so, August, September 2025. Adam did say it, publicly and call Whack out. Like, why did you send me a link to Child Beep? And so they kind of hashed it out on the show or whatever. And so now, all right, so that's the background. So that brings us to here. This was posted actually 11 days ago. I don't know how it didn't come across my desk until yesterday. But it says, Tanea asks Adam. So Tanea, this is Nova's mom, and I'm wondering if she's pregnant again. She asked why Whack 100 shared a link to her daughter's explicit content. Okay, so Tanea asks Adam, why did Wax send you that link for my daughter? And it's like, I want to know why too. Old pervert, in my opinion. So let's just take a listen. Oh, this one right here is Crip Mac. He's been in jail for like 2 years or something. He just got out, and them two used to date each other, and then they had broke up. But I guess now I don't know if they're doing a content dating or they like actually really date. I mean, girl, your guess is quite as good as mine.
It's not top. See, Lena, Adam, and
I'm gonna speed the video up as well.
Lupe, like, she gonna be like, neighborhood, bro. Neighborhood, bro.
I want to know what Lena thinks about this collab, though. So I'm gonna actually holler at her. She might have some important insight. She's gonna think it's emergency.
Who cares about this? They're just trying to make it 9 minutes long.
Look at this. I'm getting dubs. Bitch. Oh, 13. When people speak on my daughter or my motherhood online, do you feel responsible for any of that?
Oh,
damn.
Not after you apologize. Not after you apologize.
I apologize.
I know, see, Mike, you hit below the bell. You sound like the comments. And, you know, I can control her to a certain extent. I mean, you know, she just texted me yesterday and said, you good, gang? I'm like, what? This is the teenagers these days. You know, that means that she cares about me.
It's harder to take
like
care of the
you good, gang?
teenagers these days, you know. But a lot of parents can relate also.
Yeah.
Teenagers is hard to take care of. They can't.
They got their own mind. Just imagine when you start banging. Yeah. Your mom, she's sweet, she's beautiful. Even her sweet voice.
Okay, so when she says banging, she's talking about gang banging, like not in an sexual way, but like just imagine when you joined a gang, how you didn't want to listen to your mom. That's basically like what Tanea is saying. She's like, so yeah, like obviously my daughter, like you can understand that, right? From like when you were in a gang, like do you hear yourself? Do you literally and legitimately actually hear yourself? Is either of your eardrums working, lady? What? Like, I'm like your sweet mom. Like, whenever you started joining a gang. Please. I'm just wondering, does this lady hear herself? This is the mom. I mean, I've called her out multiple times. I do not understand what mother in their right mind will be going on public platforms that have millions and millions of subscribers and talking about her daughter's her own personal relationship with her daughter. Even, I mean, it's crazy.
Couldn't even stop you either.
No, she couldn't sleep.
And she just had to accept it, right? She had to accept her child.
Granny Bear loved it. Go to Granny Bear's house, she'll iron the blue rag, clean the clothes, and everything.
Yes, and she still wear the blue rag to Granny Bear.
Yeah, Granny Bear, she remembers.
And she a Christian too.
Yeah,
that is strange to me. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny.
See, and that's called unconditional love. So that's all that is. But we're working on it. I'll be chewing her ass out all the time.
So like continuing to abuse her. Got it.
Yeah, I even took a class for her. Also,
what kind of class?
It was called a parent empowerment class, and it was a sex trafficking type of class.
Wow.
Yeah, just to basically deal with teenagers.
She said she took a parent empowerment class. It was a trafficking kind of thing. Wait a second. So like for parents of trafficking victims, can we get in the time machine and go back to 2023, 2022, whatever it was, whenever I was saying this is exactly what I predicted was going to happen if the adults around Nova didn't protect her. This is exactly what I predicted was going to happen, right? Put one in the chat, you remember. No, melanated wealth, you are wrong. You are wrong. And I know firsthand you are wrong. People do not, everybody who's a trafficking victim doesn't traffic their kid. That's not how it works. There's people who grow up in this environment, they see it and they know from the first memories they have to get out of it no matter what. Just because all somebody knows is something doesn't mean they are doomed. That is some caste system Weirdo shit. Okay. And we're not doing that game over here. You can go do it on Reddit or the Stan Twitter. It's not over here that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just not true. That's just not true. So no, actually, no, we're not doing that over here. But didn't I predict this in 2022, 2023 when I said Mark Laita is advertising this little girl, where to find her? The fact she doesn't have a PXMP, how much she charges, how innocent and naive she was at 13 years old. And he didn't even censor her chest out. That was crazy. I said, she is in danger. And then it escalated. She kept being put out. She kept being publicized. She kept being, in my opinion, marketed and advertised by grown adults, often mostly men. That's whenever Tough Stino, my cousin / brother, Tough Stino came around the orbit because he was saying this. He was saying, we're not doing that. Everybody that grows up in a certain way got to act a certain way and be a certain way toward their daughters. No, we're not doing that. We're doing girl dad over here. So I don't know what Tanea is doing over here on this No Jumper right now, talking about her daughter yet again, trying to get clout and clicks, 27,000 views just on the clip of her daughter. Her daughter should have never been made to be publicized like this. And now Tanea is saying that she's going to trafficking classes for mothers. So it actually happened. The biggest fear I was trying to hope and pray didn't happen to Nova years ago. Nobody did anything to intervene with her, but they want to intervene with all the adult crackheads on Skid Row. They want to put them in conservatorships. What about these little girls whose moms are out here knowing what they're doing and saying, I can't control her?
You know, how they act when they come back home. They talked about harm reduction and just how you just meet them halfway with where they are and all of these things. It was really crazy. And then after the class, they like, you guys are viral. We want you to come speak at another class. So I spoke at another class.
She went to a class. This is about how useful these freaking classes are. This is where your tax dollars are going. This lady goes to a class trying to get help as a survivor of trafficking, or her daughter is the parent of a survivor of it. And it's, oh, you're viral. Can you teach the next class? That's where your money's going, by the way, y'all. Like, Tanea needs to be teaching a class when she just took the class just now herself. Come on. Come on.
Okay. I got my certificates, parenting,
Wow.
DV certificate.
Congratulations.
Parent
You just
empowerment.
Wait.
Exactly.
You do. Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Keep NovaOffTheBlade.com.
Thank you. Yes, she's off the blade, but keep her off the internet
She's
content
so
and all that
crazy. You'll
shit.
stop everything.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's bad too.
And then look, I want to ask you, right?
Your
So-
friend over here.
Okay,
directing.
here's the
Yeah,
WAC
yeah,
100.
No.
She's like
She was telling me
airplane
something else.
conductor. What?
We go. I'm done with you.
Air me out. What?
No, I don't want to air you out because I was talking
You're
about.
out
I don't want to forget about
creating
this. I don't want to forget about this. So look,
I don't remember it.
I seen a clip the other day,
Yeah.
That shit's good.
and it was WAC 100, right?
Okay.
Talking about he sent you some child corn, right?
He sent me a link.
A link,
I
right?
didn't click it because I
And
already
you
knew
didn't
what it
click
was.
So I researched it up,
Okay.
and I asked, "What is that when somebody sends that to you?"
And for the record, it was a link on Twitter.
on Twitter,
So
right?
it was already out there in the world. It's just somebody told him that it was out there. He sent, I think, in a group chat with me and Remo, and he said what it was before he sent it, so I didn't have to click it.
Yeah. I'm going to need somebody to explain to me where Paul whack AF, the house down 100, got the bullface unmitigated gall to send a link of a little girl doing things unspeakable, things illegal, things that are illegal to even do. And then to send a link of the illegal activities, which in and of itself is also something that it appears to me is illegal to even do, in a group chat. In a group chat to two grown men. What What? And he ain't got picked up. He announced what it was. Hey, everybody, I got some fresh links of Nova from Twitter. What? But I'm the crazy Karen, racist Karen bitch who needs to mind my business. And we got grown men over there in that infested, degenerated podcast, petri dish, cesspool, sending links to child you know what to each other. Or at least one way, by the way. Now, to Adam's, defense, he claims he never clicked it, but he better hope he never did. Not that he would probably get in trouble. I think he's a federal asset, but that's just my opinion.
My reaction was just like, okay, like maybe you shouldn't be sending that link around.
Right. And thank you, Adam, for not clicking on the link, because
I didn't
it's like, bro, it's already bad enough. We don't know if it's her or not because it's a lot of scamming and all type of shit going on.
Right.
But it's just the fact.
So when she says we don't know if it's her or not, what she's talking about isn't we don't know if it's Nova or not in the videos, because this is very clear on the content that was posted that traumatized me, that I reported to the FBI and everywhere else. I'll even reported it to freaking Crime Stoppers. It's very clear to me it's Nova. Now, did I sit and do an AI analysis? Oh, this is AI. I could see a pixel on the hell. No, I reported it instantly. I reported it and it disappeared. So I don't want to ever see it again. I'm traumatized that I had to see it in the first place, but it was clear it was Nova. What Tanea is saying is we don't know who posted the content, who had videos of the content, and who's posting it, because there's a lot of scams going on. Because think about it this way. Let's say you date a young 13 to 14-year-old Nova. You take some personal videos, and now you have those in your possession. Maybe you're some sick, backward-minded, deserves the death penalty criminal, and you start to sell that content as if it's somehow new. It could be anybody could have these videos. Nova herself could have maybe sold some of these videos, which would be against the law, which would be against the criminal statutes. But let's say Nova did, then somebody out here has those videos. Maybe they can sell those. Maybe they could put those out as an advertisement to sell other videos. Please do not send hate or contact. Actually, don't contact anybody mentioned in this live stream. But I mean, I'm trying to protect children out here, and I've been getting called everything but a child of God, a racist, a Karen, a mind your own business, a you wouldn't understand, some little girls be fast and grown and thrust themselves into the lifestyle, worry about your business, mind your business. All the while, we're now finding out the little girl got trafficked, according to her mother.
Just the fact that, like, Wack knew by him sending that, whether he said it was his team or not. I looked it up, and that's a charge too. Sending and possessing and clicking and doing all that shit. But I'm not even on that. But why not report it? If you sent your people, your team, report it.
I'm not sure if they were also reporting it or not. But either way, I mean, isn't it pretty that shit's on Twitter, one of the biggest websites in the world that the richest man in the world owns, and there's child.
It is. It is pretty effed up. So then Adam should agree with me by the same logic that it's pretty effed up that his friend, or at least his co-worker in some sort, Mark Leta, Soft White Underbelly, he should agree. Adam should agree with me that Mark Leta also shouldn't have had Nova uncensored, see-through top on his platform either. It's pretty crazy, wouldn't you agree, that your friend just put her out there like that? Because what the excuse was that's just reality. People got mad at me for calling it out too. That's another one. That's just reality. You're jealous of Mark Leta. The bots would come over here and say, you're just jealous. They would go to BJ Investigates and say, of Mark Leta's success. And you're just trying to pull down another YouTuber. Nova was unknown to the public until Mark Leta thrust her upon the public. The video went viral. It was uncensored. She was a child. He was a grown man. To this day, years later, she was still a child. She is still a child. She is still years from turning 18. So Adam got smoke for Twitter, which, yeah, it's horrible. It shouldn't have been up. Should have been taken down much faster, much sooner, many days before it was. But again, I'm circling back to the Kanye stuff. Where's the moral compass really pointing to? Just when he feels like it, or what?
Exactly. Right.
I mean, what the?
And I'm pretty sure because it gets reported on like Instagram, they probably take it to Twitter or whoever does that shit because they know anything goes on this rich man's platform, right? So it's not getting reported off enough. Yeah. It gets more talked about and shared, sending to one another like it got sent to you, rather than reporting it. And I'm like, why? As this black man, I mean,
my thing is why they didn't immediately take it down. I think is because it's probably kind of hard to prove that it is, child material or whatever.
What reaction do you think he was going to get?
So why don't you just take it down now and ask questions later? Like the other way of doing it cannot be how we continue to operate. I mean, lots of people saw that and were traumatized by it.
When he sent it to you.
I don't know. I think he was just telling me that it was out there.
And I wonder what his team was doing. Like, were they snickering?
Well, they're the exposers. They're all about exposing things.
And that's the thing. Like, exposing what's already exposed. How about report and help and bring this to the...
Yeah, try to help her as a better mother.
Yeah.
I think that they were reporting it. I think that was part of it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I know.
You need a man who loves you as much as he loves you.
He loved me. This is why I can't get over C-Mac. It's like no man can stand a chance because with him acting like this...
Most people haven't really seen the side of him.
And when it's behind... No, and behind closed doors...
I feel like I'm watching the two newest recruits to the clown college do an improv session. What is even in the hell going on here? They're jumping from such a serious topic to cuddling and canoodling. What in the hell is this disaster? Why are they talking about this kid? I am glad that she's finally saying what should have been done is exactly what I did do while everybody was telling me to mind my business and worry about my own stuff and stop worrying about the people in the culture I don't understand. I'm the only one out here trying to protect this child. Tanea saw people saying that stuff about me. She didn't come out and make a statement. Yeah, actually, that's true. BJ Investigates is right. Why don't we report it if we see it? She's now months and months later in her comeback tour with C-Mac, looking like she's probably about to debut her 7th pregnancy. I don't care. I don't need validation from any of these morons. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because if they get too congratulatory and celebratory of what I'm doing, I'm gonna start wondering if I'm actually doing the right things. Okay. So I don't need these losers' validation by any means. But it's just interesting that now she's saying exactly the same things that I've been saying for years. Why isn't this stuff being reported? Why instead are grown men like whack freaking nasty Paw 100 send in links? Imagine an honorable man that you know in your life actually holding their finger on that share link and clicking copy and sending it to not only one other grown man, but 2 or perhaps more in a group chat. According to Adam 2216, Gray Mason was 2 in the group chat. I can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom anything other than trying to get reported instantly. Call the feds. Call the Department of Homeland Security. Why does he keep grabbing her like that? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, no, validation means nothing if they're not helping to solve the problem. I'm not even feeling validated. It's just interesting. Where was all this energy before you were going to harassment, assault, trafficking survivor classes for your daughter? Where was this energy 3 years ago? It's a little freaking late. Only reason she's doing this, Blair said, is because it's beneficial for her. All that woman cares about is herself. Indeed. I'd report to the police. Whether yellow, black, and white. Y'all know that used to be red, brown. That used to be the Jesus loves the independent. Jesus loves the independents. That's true. Jesus loves the little children of the world. It used to be red, brown, yellow, black, and white. But then I guess it started becoming offensive to call people red and brown. So now they changed the words. Anyway, yeah, he does look a little cuckoo. He does. Them classes seemed sus. Seemed like the classes taught how to monetize. Oh, send me an email of that with a link. I wonder if the classes were required to avoid charges or get her other kids taken away. It all seems like, money grifts to me, especially like considering what I have found out lately about those like nonprofits, the homeless and the mental health nonprofits and the abuse victim nonprofits that are going on in LA. There's just been so much fraud recently uncovered. And I've always known about this fraud. I've always known about it. But like now it's starting to become more definitive, more out in the open. Names are getting named. And now I guess for some reason it's politically popular to point it out. When I was trying to point it out, I was getting suppressed. But that's what I get for always being 2 to 5 years too early for everything. But like, let me just show y'all what I mean. Let's see. Broward County. No, not them. I want to do the nonprofits. Hold on. Like Baldwin. Fake Birkin. Trump video now deleted. Bronx. Rude judge. Alabama man. Hold on. Let me see. Nonprofit. Oh, yeah. Homeless nonprofits are a cesspool. That's this tweet. California Congresswoman who was forced to resign is back as a homeless non-government organization CEO. That's the NGO. She was also executive director of a $160 million homeless NGO that got $20 million for a Venice Beach project that housed 0 people. According to their own statistics, $20 million to house 0 people. Hello, you see this? This is another thing that the no jumper degenerates were talking about, criticizing, berating, and belittling me for. They were saying if she cares so much, why don't she donate? Why don't she donate to some nonprofits or to some organizations? This is why, stupid ass. This is why I don't donate. $20 freaking million for a Venice Beach project that housed 0 people. Or Tanea going to a class for survivors of a certain type of thing. And after one class, because she's viral, they want her to speak at the next few. I don't want to freaking fund that. How is that helping Nova? How is that helping anybody? A homeless nonprofit that got $20 million to house no homeless people. That's why I ain't donating my hard-earned freaking money. Because already money that I don't have a choice to donate, called taxes, goes to this bullshit. It ain't helping nobody. Stupid. That's why. Ask me another stupid question, stupid. Ask me another question that's so obviously answerable. Look at this. According to their own statistics, it showed that they only helped 35 people exit homelessness in 1 year. This is like 3% of the homeless people that pass through its doors. After a few rough years, Katie is making a comeback as the new CEO of a homeless organization called Union Station Homeless Services. But interestingly, not only did she get that job, she was also at the same time appointed to the LA Homeless Services Authority. Another monstrously fraudulent agency, allegedly, an agency that I've dug into. This person here, Wall Street Apes, says they've dug into it in the past. And he said, I'll just say this. It's quite sketchy, which conveniently is responsible for doling out tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts to various nonprofit organizations, including Katie's new gig at Union Station Homeless Services. As executive director at PATH, she grew the annual budget from 5 million to 50 million and managed staff of 500 employees. This is how success is measured. Before becoming a congresswoman, she was a homeless NGO CEO. She was a congresswoman. They're saying this is a money laundering scam. These people never stop stealing our money. Now, he's calling them criminals. He's calling them, things that you can't prove. Okay. I don't know if this stuff is criminal. I don't know if it's criminal. It may be perfectly legal to take $20 million of federal or state money and for homeless people and house 0 homeless people. But it's remarkably inefficient, to say the least, if all of this is true. Okay. If all of this is true. Okay. So that's why when the people at Adam 2216 Grand Mason, degenerated, infested podcast over there ask me why I don't donate my money to homeless NGOs and to helping victims NGOs, it's because they have people like Tanea going over there to them for help. And then they get asked to lead the next one because they're viral. Huh? Girl, please. Maybe that's helpful, but I don't want to spend my money on it. I don't want to spend my money on it. Me personally. So that'll conclude the Tanea Nova. That'll conclude the Tanea Nova No Jumper segment for today. Like I said, I am working on a more, produced and well presented, eloquently presented video for BJ Investigates on this topic. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, so now the next segment I want to go into, the next segment of today's video is going to be the Nancy Guthrie saga. Okay, Nancy, Savannah, the Guthrie family. Okay, so Savannah Guthrie has now returned to the Today Show. This is months after her mother's disappearance. She returned into her co-anchor position. Now, for a while, it was being said she wasn't going back. Nobody could even see a reality or a universe where she goes back. Well, she's back. Okay, so she came back on today on the Today Show. She came back. This is over 2 months after her mother went missing, remains missing without a trace. Savannah has been a co-anchor of the weekday morning show since 2012. She returned to the desk at Rockefeller Center's Studio 1A wearing a smile and a yellow dress, the same color as the flowers. Yes, the PR needs to remind us the yellow dress was on purpose. Got it. Okay, cool. After teasing the news stories of the day, Iran, the Artemis II, lunar flyby, March Madness, and more, Savannah Guthrie briefly acknowledged her homecoming. We're so glad you started your week with us. It's good to be home, she said, prompting a warm welcome from her co-host, Craig Melvin, who was also wearing yellow. Okay, good PR. Got to remind everybody's wearing yellow. Well, here we go, she said. Ready or not, let's do the news. Fans welcomed Savannah back too, with many standing outside with yellow PR ribbons. These are so beautiful. The signs her decision to resume her duties at the popular NBC daytime show. That's where Chloe Malos works, by the way. After months of investigation into the disappearance of her 84-year-old mother, who was last seen in January. In an interview last month with fellow NBC colleague Hoda Kotba, I don't know how to say her last name, sorry. Savannah said that she was inspired in large part by her mother to return. Despite her grief, I won't let sadness win for her. Nancy's husband and Savannah's father, Charles, had died at 49 years old. Savannah said, I saw her grieve. I saw her world shatter. I saw it and I saw her get up. Still, Guthrie also acknowledged that she wasn't sure how she would manage being in the studio again, as questions still linger about her mother's whereabouts. She pointed to the support she had received from her NBC colleagues to help her get through. It's hard to imagine doing it because it's such a place of joy and lightness, and I can't come back to try to be something that I'm not. But I also, she said, can't not come back because it's my family. Guthrie, she had been set to host the Winter Olympics in Milan, but on February 1st, the news came in that her mother had been abducted. In the weeks since, investigators have tried to figure out what happened after Nancy Guthrie returned home from a family dinner on January 31st. Savannah told co-host Hoda when she got the news, she rushed from New York, where she lives, to her mother's home north of Tucson. It was immediately clear something was very wrong. She said there was blood at the front doorstep, and the Ring camera, or the Nest camera, had been yanked off. So we were saying this is not okay. Surveillance footage released by police showed an armed man wearing a mask and gloves approaching and tampering with Nancy's doorbell camera early in the morning hours of February 1st. The Guthrie family has publicly responded to ransom notes with video messages offering to pay for their mother's return home. They have not received a response. Nancy Guthrie Savannah. They say Guthrie, and it's like they should probably do first names in articles like this because they're talking about Savannah and Nancy. But Savannah has repeatedly asked that anyone with information about her mother's disappearance come forward. Speaking with Hoda in her interview last week, Savannah said, "We need an answer, and someone has it in their power to help. It is never too late when you do. And when you do, the warmth of love and forgiveness that will come will be greater than can be imagined." The search has continued since February with no major breakthroughs. Guthrie's family is offering $1 million reward for any information leading to Nancy's return. Okay, so Savannah's back at the Today Show. And apparently she's mad at God. This was another update in the Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie. Savannah expresses disappointment with God as mom is still missing. In an Easter message, Savannah expressed disappointment with God that he isn't doing what she wants. Okay, got it. "We celebrate today the promise of a new life that never ends in death," Guthrie said in a video for Good Shepherd New York's digital Easter gathering. Now, this Good Shepherd New York is one I found to be interesting because y'all might have forgotten, or you might remember. Put a 3 in the chat if you remember. Put a 4 in the chat if you remember. Put a 4 in the chat if you remember. The whole church saga where it was like, oh, Nancy didn't report to church service. And a friend from church said she wasn't at church and she usually is at church. And that's why she got reported to the call. And she called a family member, the family member called. Then it changed. Then the story changed to it was a web Zoom church. She was supposed to go to web Zoom church. And then her pastor spoke out, but the pastor that spoke out was from some local Presbyterian church, which makes sense and seems fine. But then another different pastor the next day spoke out, and that's one saying they're Nancy's pastor. And then it was a little bit of like a bunch of people saying, what the hell? Which one's her church? I don't think there's two pastors out here in the world who would both be saying I'm their congregant. Then we ended up finding out Nancy actually hadn't even been to that Presbyterian local church since COVID. So there was a lot of weird stuff going on with this church, but Savannah goes to the one in New York, Good Shepherd, and they got a thriving multimedia department at that church because they're making Easter videos. She's standing here today. I have to tell you, there's moments where that promise of a new life seems irretrievably far away when life itself seems far harder than death. She said she's been struggling with feeling abandoned during this time. That's so weird to me because she's also been saying all the time, almost every time she makes a statement, she said she feels the love. She feels the outpouring of support. She thanks everybody for the love and the outpouring of support. But now she feels isolated. What are you talking about, girl? And why is there Easter message? Like, can y'all let this? It's like almost as bad as Erica Kirk, how much they got this lady making statements. Let her have a freaking moment. These moments of deep disappointment with God, the feeling of utter abandonment. For most of us, there will come a time in our life when these feelings hold sway. She said she knows Jesus experienced pain, which has helped her in some ways. Recently, though, in my own season of trial, I have questioned whether Jesus really ever experienced this particular wound that I feel, this grievous and uniquely cruel. Okay, Jesus got tortured to death physically on a cross. I think he knows about wounds. Guthrie returned to the Today Show for the first time today. During her first broadcast back, she said it was difficult to move on without knowing what happened to her mother, which is completely understandable. Even though the local sheriff's department and federal officers have been on the case, there still has been no sign of Nancy. She was reported missing February 1st. Now, in the Nancy Guthrie universe, I want to show y'all this very interesting tweet I came across this morning. It says, strange coincidence or what? Locksmith breaking into houses in the Catalina foothills area of Tucson? This lady 12 hours ago in the Nextdoor app, well, 12 hours, like less than 20, like yesterday. Last night, she said, I had my locks changed last week by an on-call locksmith. Last night, the man who changed my locks broke into my home around 10 p.m. while I was home alone with all 4 of my children. So you weren't home alone. You were home with your children. The police responded within 5 minutes. This man spent 5 hours changing all the locks on my house and then unknowingly to me made a copy of a key for himself and came into my home last night. He came into my bedroom, which was when I was able to grab my phone and call the police. He then left out the back door. That's terrifying. The police found him and took him into custody. His personal truck was full of various locks and keys. He seems to be the owner or manager of this company. Please be safe and change your locks if you have used Jonathan Davis with On-Call Locksmith. And this reminds me that Nancy Guthrie's house had some guys appearing to be locksmiths showing up and going into that back little like mother-in-law suite. They call them something. What do y'all call them over there? Pueblo or something? No, they call it something else. It's like a little side thing. So, I don't know. Nancy lives in the Catalina foothills. Could it be something to do with this locksmith breaking into people's houses? He broke into this lady's house when he thought she was alone with her 4 kids. And speaking of the Catalina foothills, that's right over there in Pima County, as you may remember. And the sheriff, the Pima County sheriff, the original law enforcement agency on the Nancy Guthrie case, I mean, so far, it completely spectacularly has failed to identify anything going on in this case as far as where's the sus. We don't even have a named suspect. Well, it came to my attention this morning that he got special treatment with the TSA. Sheriff in Nancy Guthrie case allegedly brought an undeclared pew-pew to the airport, tried to get it through the TSA checkpoint. Chris Nanos, the sheriff of Pima County, Arizona, and one of the key figures in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, is under more scrutiny amid a recent report that he allegedly brought an undeclared pew-pew to a TSA checkpoint a year and a half ago. Citing an incident report, Fox News Digital reports that on November 6th, 2024, a TSA X-ray tech found a loaded, undeclared pew-pew in Chris Nanos' bag at the Tucson Airport B concourse and flagged an officer. Airport police then discovered 5 rounds in the magazine. He tried to get that on the plane. The carry-on. He didn't declare it, and another in the chamber. Amid that incident, Chris Nanos missed his original flight, but he stowed the firearm in his vehicle, so he just left it in his freaking car and caught a flight later, according to Fox News Digital. At a public meeting 6 days later, somebody called him out. At a public meeting, a Tucson resident and Conservative Coalition of America President Corey Stevens complained that regular citizens would have had a very different experience. Would have fared differently. I was just complaining about how mean TSA is, treats us all like criminals just the other day. Would have fared differently had they brought a gun to TSA checkpoint if it would have been me or you. Oh yeah. Definitely. We would have fared differently for sure. The person said in the public town hall meeting in 2024, if a private citizen had encountered that at the airport, the consequences would have been far greater. He told Fox News Digital this on Friday. This is recently. We as citizens want answers. The safety of our community is at stake, and the fairness, transparency, and all of that. Why was he trying to sneak that gun through the flight for? As sheriff of Pima County, Nanos has been one of the more visible investigators in the February 1st disappearance and presumed abduction of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. We believe we know why Nancy's abductor did this, and we believe that it was targeted, but we are not 100% sure of that. Yeah, don't worry about Nanos told NBC News last month, and it would be silly to tell people, yeah, don't worry about it. You're not his target. Yeah, it would be. Don't think for a minute that because it happened to the Guthrie family that you're safe. No, keep your wits about you. With the case now entering its third month and answers still scarce, Nanos defended his team in an interview with local news source KVOA this week, saying he has faith in his colleagues and he denied that they made any mistakes early in the investigation. So he's obviously not able to take any accountability for any of his actions. He said, you cannot attack my department. Yeah, we can. We can attack your department. Yes, we can. That's literally like our constitutional right, but okay. Attack the sheriff, but you will not get by with attacking my department. Yes, I will. And you're not going to do jack shit about it, actually. I attack you too. Verbally, of course, not violently. Please don't send any attacks to anybody mentioned in this video. What the fuck? These bugs. Y'all saw that? I don't know how they get in. They're all over the side of my house. I need one of those electric zappers. I'm getting one. Discrediting an investigation like this doesn't help anything. It's very harmful. Okay, it's not my responsibility to help shit. What are you, Keir Starmer? No, we don't believe there were any mistakes made. These people work very hard every day to keep our community safe. Okay, two things can be true, Chris. You can work very hard every day for your community, and you can also make mistakes. Most people make mistakes. Every article goes through checks for accuracy before publication. Okay, so Chris Nanos gets special treatment. Chris Nato's getting special treatment at the TSA because I know for a fact if I was trying to get through TSA and I had a loaded gun with 5 in a magazine, I'd still be sitting in prison. Okay. So now I thought we could take a few from different sections. Okay, so here's the sections that I have now left. Officials behaving badly. That leads, right from what we just talked about. Deception. Okay, I got a few things there. We have a missing scientist update. Actually, I only have one thing there. Is this politician an alien? Hold on, let me move that into the deception section. Okay, what are they hiding in Antarctica? I don't know if we'll get to that or not, but that's in the deception section nonetheless. We also have a true crime section, an open air hell prison section, and an in the news / pop culture section. So let me go to that section first. I want to talk about Timothy Busfield because there's only one thing to really talk about with him. This is a Yahoo News article citing People magazine. Melissa Gilbert, Timothy Busfield's wife, she was in Little House on the Prairie. She says she knew about Timothy Busfield's allegations in the past before she ever married him. She said, I didn't go into my relationship blind. I am neither naive nor am I complicit, she said in a Good Morning America interview. She's speaking out about her husband's past allegations. She sat down for an interview with Good Morning America's George Stephanopoulos, and it aired today, Monday, April 6th. Stephanopoulos asked about 2 previous allegations of assault against Timothy Busfield. And those happened between 1994 and 2012. The Albuquerque Police Department officer who issued the warrant against Busfield pertaining to his latest charges referenced 2 separate prior incidents of assault against Timothy Busfield, one from the 1990s and another from around 2012. She said, I need to make something abundantly clear. Okay, this is Timothy Busfield's wife. These allegations have been out in the ether for a very long time. When Tim and I got together, the internet existed. I didn't go into my relationship blind. I am neither naive nor am I complicit. I talked to him about it. I asked him questions about it. I heard his side of the story, which nobody has ever heard, which was the truth. And when the time is right, and that is not now, Tim will tell the truth of all these past allegations when he needs to. Busfield's previous accusations include an accusation involving a 17-year-old, an extra on Little Big League, who sued in Los Angeles Superior Court claiming Busfield did things that were wrong. I'm not going to read the specifics, but you can pause and read here if you want to. In any event, that dispute was settled. And his later defamation bid against her lawyers got tossed, and he had to pay nearly $150,000 in costs. No charges, however, were filed. So it was a civil dispute. The second past allegation dates to March 18th, 2012, when a 28-year-old woman accused Busfield of battery in LA in a movie theater, alleging that you can pause it and read. I'm not going to read it. Okay, so here's her doing her interview for her man. Busfield surrendered to police in January after an arrest warrant was issued by the Albuquerque Police Department on January 9th. Regarding allegations that he engaged in unlawful conduct with two 11-year-old twin boys. He was charged with 2 counts of criminal assault, contact of a minor, and 1 count of child harming, allegations that he had engaged in certain actions. He was released from custody on January 20th after a pre-trial detention hearing in New Mexico, and on February 6th, he was indicted by a grand jury on 4 counts of criminal assault against a child. So he was indicted in February. I think I missed that update. He pleaded not guilty to all 4 counts, obviously, and all of them are third-degree felonies. They all pertain to events in October 2022 and September 2023. Per court documents on February 10th, after a plea entry, okay, so this is all from court documents they're citing. A representative for Gilbert, that's the wife, told People magazine that the Little House on the Prairie alum, again, that's the wife, and Busfield's lawyer, so her husband's lawyer, Larry Stein, wanted to speak with Stephanopoulos. So the lawyer and the Little House on the Prairie, they arranged PR with Good Morning America. Got it. She decided it was time to sit down to clarify the facts of the case, which seemed to have become lost to distraction, selective information, and clickbait. During the interview, Gilbert said it has been hell ever since her husband was arrested. Our life as we knew it is done. We are grieving what we had, all of our plans, all of our dreams, all of our ideas, all of our projects. For Tim, it's done. He's canceled. Even if he's exonerated, he will always be that guy. Gilbert said her husband of 13 years is the last person in the world who would hurt a child. No one knows him better than I do. I know literally everything about him. Our marriage has, we've had a lot of ups and downs. We've been through struggles. We've had our own issues to deal with, and we worked through everything. He's nothing if not completely honest with me. I trust him with my children's lives, my grandchildren's lives, my nieces and nephews. He is an honorable, caring, generous human being. Busfield also spoke out before he surrendered to police on January 13th. Remember the TMZ video that came out? I did not do anything, he said on camera. They are all lies, and I did not do anything to those little boys, and I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team. I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is all so wrong and all lies. In a January 26th statement shared via her company, Modern Prairie, the wife, Gilbert, spoke about the extraordinarily difficult situation she and her family are in. This season has reminded me very clearly how important it is to slow down, prioritize what truly matters, and allow ourselves moments of rest. Stepping back from the noise, the news, and even our daily responsibilities from time to time gives us space to recharge, reflect, and find our center again, she wrote. Okay, well, that is the Timothy Busfield update, and that's that. So now let's go to the deception section. I want to talk about the Becca Bloom Birkin scandal real quick. I don't know if y'all know about this content creator or not. We have another Rich Lux Exposed, and I think we have another one coming up. At least I have another one on the links of, today's potential topics. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. But We're moving on to the next topic I wanted to talk y'all about, and this is in the deception section. Like, I'm going to be pulling different ones from deception, true crime, different ones now as we get through the rest of the video. But Becca Bloom is a very, very famous, it's called a rich talker. And she's supposed to be, you know, very rich. And she has like millions and millions of dollars worth of jewelry and purses, and she's on private jets, and she gets a new Cartier, this and that every time some, you know, her husband farts in a different direction or something. So I don't know if she's married or not, y'all, but she's very, very rich. Okay. She's on the internet always being rich or whatever. All right. So apparently, allegedly, according to Rich Lux and others on the internet sleuths, she might be faking some of this richness by having fake Birkin bags. Now, the Birkin bag is highly coveted. The Birkin bag costs, you know, $3,000 up. I mean, it's like a real cheap bottom of the barrel one, all the way up to $10,000, $11,000. Some of them are $300,000, $250,000. I mean, these things are really expensive, the Birkin bag. And so let's watch the expose from Rich Lux on Twitter. Oops, hold on. Where's the sound here? Hold on, Okay, here we go.
And her fake Birkin bags. Let's talk about it. It's very controversial. It's one of TikTok's most richest influencers has been caught with fake bags and hasn't even admitted they're fake because she plays them off as real. See this jet right here? This is a studio. She's getting on to the studio private jet with this pink Birkin bag. But if you zoom in close, you can see that this Birkin bag has little holes on the side.
That's a problem.
Well, another luxury TikToker is calling her out.
First thing is, no Hermes Birkins come with a loop or a hole for a strap, and I can see that there's a.
Okay, so do y'all see that? Y'all saw the hole? That's lady right here. She said no Hermes Birkins come with a loop or a hole right there. And Rich Lux is like, well, what about that hole we just saw on Becca Bloom's pink supposed Birkin, her Firkin?
Community is raising eyebrows because if it's fake, just say it's fake.
The
There's
luxury
a lot of people who are
community.
like, yeah, girl, I'll buy the fake bags and spend the money on a house or something. So here's another photo here.
Not another
posted
one.
by Drew's Views. See the bag?
No.
The yellow canary.
I mean, I see the bag, yeah.
Birkin bag, ultra rare.
Mm-hmm. Ultra rare.
Boom, another rivet, another hole.
A grommet.
I have seen lots of Birkin bags, and none of them came with the hole like that, girl. Here we are with another photo Becca Bloom posted on her TikTok.
Not again,
and
Becca.
Then, boom, another.
Now I got to know, are the hundreds real? Why she got all those hundreds? Are the hundreds real? Is any of it real? This is a big brand hit for her.
Wow, at least cover it up, girl. Becca Bloom has not admitted to buying or using fake bags as of yet. She unboxes them on TikTok as if they are from Hermes, coming out of the box. And people are saying it's the same box, but with the fake bag inside. Same shopping bags. Wow.
So they saying the Hermes box might be real. Maybe she got a real Birkin, but she'd be putting the fake ones in there and unboxing them. That's what they say, and I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I've ever even laid my eyes in real life on a Birkin bag, much less I definitely don't have one. But yeah, I mean, people are saying I don't care. I'm not offended. I would download a car if I could. That's so dumb to spend that much money on a bag. I would agree. Is Becca Bloom even real? I mean, that's the next question. You know, what she might be real, and it's like, just come out, pose with these fake, you know, bags, and then go back in your cage, girl. I don't know. But I think it's a bigger issue of like, she isn't just an influencer that happens to have like a fake Birkin. You know, she seemingly, if this grommet thing is true, I mean, she got a few of them. And it is kind of pushing an aspirational, like not attainable lifestyle as it is. But like, if that's your real lifestyle, go ahead, girl. But it's like a lot of people will work themselves into the ground just to afford a Birkin. And it's like, girl, Becca Blooms ain't even real. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe this is all just fake PR to make us be talking about Becca Bloom. I don't know. Anybody that says next subject, please, is kicked out of my chat because I don't know if y'all missed it. I definitely know you have to agree to it before you ever even comment on this channel. Oh no, it's my other channel. I need to put the rules on this one. This is my channel. I'll talk about whatever I want. I can say London Bridge is falling down for the next 15 hours if I feel like. So nobody tell me what to do. You're now banned. Get away. Okay. I was in Hermes yesterday. That is the truth. They do not have a hole. Okay. Thank you. We have someone who's actually had eyes on one. My roommate got a fake Birkin work bag. I think if you got a Birkin, you probably don't need to go to work. You probably got daddy money or something. You know what I mean? Like you going to work with a Birkin. That's red flag number one. And me personally, I got to go to work and I don't got a Birkin. Okay. So I fall into that as well. We're not rich. So this was just for aesthetic. Okay. Got it. Okay. This is Sparta. Exactly. Yes, please hit the like button. Okay. So I have another Rich Lux expose. Okay. And it is Michaela Agueroa again. Okay. We talked about this before. Michaela Agueroa with her filters. She showed up. Put a 5 in the chat.
Oh, hell no.
Rich Lux is so funny. Okay, put a 5 in the chat if you remember us talking about the Hannah Montana and the Hannah Montana premiere, and Michaela Agueroa went over there and she did not even look like the same person on the red carpet as her Instagram, right? Okay, so we got some more along those lines.
Michaela Agueroa, oh, hell nah. She's still using filters, and I'm going to prove it. Amelia Light. You can see here.
I do not film my videos with filters.
Well. When she says, I never use filters.
Okay, so Rich just played a video of her saying, I do not film my videos with filters. And then boom, here's a filter. Okay. And he's got this filter circled. It's Amelia Light. Okay. So she apparently does film videos with filters, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with using a filter. But when you're out here trying to portray a certain look, a certain aesthetic, it's like, but you do not look like that. That is not what you look like. Not even with makeup.
Feast your eyes, folks. Step right on up to the world's biggest
Look, there's
liar.
Another one, Amelia
Another
Light.
filter. Make sure you drop a like and a comment. I love you guys so much. Okay. And before you start, please, with, you're obsessed.
She likes Amelia Light.
Leave her alone. You're obsessed. It's Easter Sunday. You're obsessed. Girl, happy Easter. You guys say happy Easter in the chat.
Happy Easter.
I want to see happy Easter.
Say happy Easter in the chat.
Okay, stop being shady. Be a lady and like the life. Happy Easter to everyone. So she was at the Super Bowl with the boyfriend.
Filter the house.
That's him there. I clocked it, the house girl.
Yeah.
We clocked it, the house girl. Clock.
So this is news because she just recently announced her divorce. So this is her new boo.
Investigation. That's the page.
Zachary.
Clock it, the house girl. So all the time, Michaela drops these videos.
Where's the rest of the part of her eyebrows? Why she did that like that? It's like sparse and bushy at the same time. It's given like, remember the Sunday and the Saturday cartoons or the Sunday morning cartoons? It's like graphic novel cartoon eyebrow. What is that? The longer I look at it, the worse it is.
Light filter. And so when you say you don't use filters, that's a lie. Girl, buy another lie. Girl, buy another lie. Well, I'm too booked and busy, girl. I'll see you later. This is Rich Lux with the hottest celebrity news and gossip.
Okay, so Michaela Agueroa out here saying she don't use filters in her videos and then getting clocked to the house by Rich Lux. I mean, whoops. Filters exposed. Okay, so now we're like in the what would you call it? The like beauty influencer area, anyway now. So I have another beauty kind of like influencer thing to tell y'all about. And it's kind of like weirdly kind of a life lesson. And I thought we could just, cause it's, it's girls here. I thought that the sketch filter. Oh, it's a filter. I thought she did that on her own face. Anyway, okay. So, but this is like a life lesson. I thought it was like a cute, like hashtag girlhood moment. Okay. But you're going to like it. Okay. So it has to do with this girl right here. I just kind of started following her recently. Her name, we're not going to watch the whole journey. Okay. There's like many videos, but her name on here is Khalida Koo. Okay. So she's making her Coachella. I've never been to Coachella. Okay. If you don't know about Coachella and you don't go to Coachella, that's fine. Stick around because this is a universally applicable message and it's fun. It's fun to watch through. So I've been kind of following this girl's journey. Put a 6 in the chat if you know about this creator. Put a 6 in the chat if you follow the journey too. But she's going to Coachella for a part, it's her job. I've never been to Coachella. Probably won't never go. I've aged out. I'm 35. But this girl, I'm going to Coachella and she's like, I got to put together my Coachella outfits as they do. And she's like, I'm going to DIY my own Coachella outfit. Okay. And she wants to make out of, jewelry only. So a totally jewelry Coachella outfit. So I'm going to play this video through. This is her explaining what it is. And then we're going to watch like 2 more shorts like this.
Hardest DIY project ever. I'm making a dress completely out of jewelry, but because I don't own enough jewelry, I bought $300 worth of mystery jewelry bags. And we already unboxed the first one and it was amazing. So let's unbox the second, shall we? Again, this is my little keep jar and I'm really hoping that this bag is going to be as good as the last. Dude, I already see another one. We have another beautiful gold.
So there were like parts on parts of her taking like maybe 3, maybe 4 parts of her taking jewelry. And then come to find out it still wasn't enough. Like she still needed more and more and more. See, look, she's like got her like whole thing going. Okay, so she hated it. Don't you get sick of it? Okay, making Coachella outfit gone wrong. So it starts to go wrong. Okay, it starts to go wrong.
I'm in big trouble. Let me tell you why. So I'm attempting to make a dress completely out of jewelry in just 6 days for Coachella. However, this project is going a little bit slower than expected because it took an entire day.
I'm going to move this down because I don't want to get copyright from that song.
Finally get started on this dress.
So she's like, let's finally get So she's like, I've been sorting jewelry. I thought it was going to take me a day. It took me a lot, like 10 hours. She's like, I thought it was going to take an hour. It took me like 10. So I've been sorting. I don't even have enough jewelry. So now she's like, I finally get to start making my dress. Okay, so here she goes.
Use these thicker chains and large O-rings because once all the pendants are on the dress, it's probably going to weigh.
It's so fun to follow along a project.
I cannot risk it snapping on me like my skirt did last year. Even though
the skirt,
like an easy task, it was actually a lot harder than it looked because I had to be very careful to not cut the wrong chain, or else the entire structure of the base could get messed up and would cause the pendants to not be spaced out evenly, and we can't have that happening. So with that in mind, we carefully cut the thin chain and replaced it with a thicker one, which meant that the base was all done. Now it was finally time to start the fun part: putting on the pendants. My plan was to start with the largest pieces first so I could kind of map out the shape that I wanted, and then go in with the smaller pendants to fill everything.
Okay, so she starts with a plan. She's like, I want to block out the large pieces and then I'll make a form and then I'm gonna fill in with smaller pieces. Okay, look, I've never made a jewelry dress in my life, probably never will, but seems like, a good a plan as any. Okay, she goes on.
Fully slow at first. Things were going really well. The top was really starting to come together. But then I realized that something was wrong. As I added more and more pendants, the more I started to hate it. Something looked really off.
I agree, it looks
off. I
off.
couldn't quite figure out what it was. Was it the colors, the placement, both? All I knew is that it looked like a hot mess. And I need to figure out this problem fast. Because as a reminder, after today, I only have 5 days left to finish this.
Okay, so it starts going wrong, right? It starts going wrong. That one said hate it. Okay, then POV, you're making a Coachella outfit, but something is very wrong with it. Okay, I'm not gonna. She's like, I'm making my outfit and it sucks. Okay, so all right. So again, isn't this kind of fun? I mean, not that it sucks, but like she obviously is having a better time now. She's like, it ended up looking horrible, making an outfit gone wrong. How's your Coachella outfit coming along? How do I fix my outfit? She said.
Here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Okay, so she's kind of poking fun at it. She's like, I don't really know what's wrong with it. But now this is another new update.
I'm in big trouble. As you guys know, I'm attempting to make a dress completely out of jewelry in just 5 days for Coachella. And so far, this project has been a hot mess because this looks like shit. So I've decided that today I'm going to be fixing it by taking the entire thing apart. Yeah, we're starting over.
Okay, I'm taking away the song. She took everything off. She's wasted 6 hours.
What I had done wrong. I was overthinking it. These jewelry dresses aren't supposed to look neat and planned out. They're meant to look a little messy and chaotic. And by mapping everything out, it made it look really unnatural. So this time around, I decided to do the complete opposite. I just started putting pendants on completely randomly. I had no plan at all whatsoever. Honestly, I didn't even really have time to think about it. And unlike last time, the more pendants I put on, the more I started to love it. It looked so much more cohesive and way less unnatural and clunky.
I agree.
So at that point,
I completely agree. It looks so much better now. I mean, it still might not be a rice cup of tea, but like y'all, that other thing was a no. And this is like, okay, like I see how it definitely looks like that other pendant dress more now.
I just kept going, adding more and more pendants randomly for 8 hours straight, until all of a sudden, I'd completely finished the top. I was honestly in shock at how good this thing looked. But more than anything, I was just impressed that I managed to fix this top considering how bad it looked yesterday.
It looks
so
better.
With the top all finished, that means we were officially halfway done with this project. Things are looking good. So
Y'all, okay, 2 things. First of all, her fingers hurt. Her nails are tore up from dealing with those things. That's exhausting. Okay, let's just give her a little bit of props and a little bit of shout out for even undertaking this monstrosity. That looks like a lot of work. But people are saying, hold on. I hope she has some fabric under there because I have been up in that area before and baby, it is spicy out there. It's hot. I didn't even think about that, but good point. Like what if it's like in the desert, right? So then like, what if the things heat up and she's just getting burned all day with the metal? Okay, I hope she has accounted for that. She is dedicated to the look. Yeah, she does these like actually the thing that I started following her for was exactly a project like this. She was making her birthday outfit and she made like a layered cake. But anyway, okay, let's watch the last one and then I'll make some comments. Okay, there's one more update as of right now. This one.
I'm in big trouble. As you guys know, I'm attempting to make a dress completely out of jewelry in just 5 days.
I took a couple,
Why isn't it?
took some time off to rest, and now it's game time, bitches.
Okay, POV, you fixed your ugly Coachella outfit. Yes, it was ugly. Okay, so listen. I think this is such a good life lesson because when she was trying to pre-plan it all, and I got all these great ideas. I got all these great ideas in my mind. Maybe she did. Maybe they looked good in her mind. But then whenever it came out, that wasn't what she was supposed to be doing. What she was supposed to be doing is just going pendant by pendant, choice by choice, moment by moment, because that's where the magic is. The magic is in the improvising. Always remember. The magic is in the improvising. And if you got it, you got it. Sometimes you can have a plan all laid out and it looks like doo-doo. Proverbially, anecdotally, and analogically. Okay, anyway, that was that. All right, so now I want to talk about, in the news, pop culture, the humiliation of Tiger Woods. Put a 6 in the chat. You heard Tiger Woods flipped his car to the side, and it's not the first time or something. The humiliation of Tiger Woods, steamy texts, leaked voicemails, scores of women, and his desperate last resort call to Trump. Crisis that could destroy Tiger Woods, sordid sex, leaked voicemails, and desperate phone call that says everything. Glassy-eyed and swaddled in an absurd blanket, Tiger Woods could barely keep his eyes open as he sat cuffed in the back of a police car last Friday. At one point, he yawned, his mouth stretching wide in what might have been a silent yowl of despair. Girl, oh my God, please. if he only had the mental capacity to fully understand his predicament. He had just been arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence after his Land Rover struck a trailer and flipped clean onto its side. Once upon a time, Woods' name was synonymous with luminous talent on the golf course. Today, he's known for his shambolic falls from grace, tumultuous divorce, serial infidelity, and now his relationship with the president's former daughter-in-law, Vanessa Trump. Last week, an inside source told the Daily Mail that Tiger Woods has selected his recovery facility and will be leaving the country imminently to begin rehab there. Yeah, you probably don't want to get Florida shuffled. His girlfriend Vanessa broke her silence to make a public show of support for him this week, sharing a picture of the couple embracing with the simple caption, "Love you." But the rallying Instagram story belies a rather more complicated situation behind the scenes. What's going on with Tiger? Look at him. Rah, he's yawning. The source told the Daily Mail behind the scenes it's been far more rocky. Lots of crunch talks and ultimatums from her. Sort your bleep out or I'm gone. But she is sticking by him and giving him a chance to get better. How many chances, one might wonder, does Tiger Woods get? Oh my God, look at him back there. Girl, what is he doing? Once upon a time, his name was synonymous with luminous talent. Girl, at the age of 21, Tiger Woods became the youngest golfer to win the prestigious Masters title, youngest ever Masters title winner, catapulting him to acclaim and influence. In the years since, over the course of a nearly 30-year career, Tiger Woods has netted 15 more major wins, including 4 more coveted Masters titles. In 2022, he was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. But these accolades, however glittering, are now in danger of being well and truly overshadowed, not just by last week's incident, but by the fact that it's just the latest in a staggering string of sordid scandals that now trail in Woods' wake. He began making headlines for his extracurricular activities off the green in November 2009, when the National Enquirer alleged that the golfer was having an illicit affair with as many as 12 women. And he had a secret new girlfriend, New York City club fixture Rachel Uchitel. She initially denied the report. Around the same time, in late 2009, Jamie Grubbs, a California waitress, told Us Weekly that she had been having a more than 2-year affair with Tiger Woods. Reportedly, she shared hundreds of text messages and a voicemail to Us Weekly. And this purportedly included Tiger Woods saying that his wife suspected he was having an affair. That same month, November 27, 2009, he crashed his Cadillac Escalade outside of his Orlando, Florida home, hit a fire hydrant and his neighbor's tree. He was not charged with DUI, but he did get cited for careless driving, and he was fined $164 in addition to having 4 points added to his license. He did not address the affair allegations at the time, but he did issue a statement on December 2nd apologizing for transgressions that he said let his family down without specifying what the transgressions were. The car crash raised eyebrows when it was reported that his then wife, Ellen Nordegren, used 2 golf clubs to break open the car's back window. She told police she was using the golf clubs to rescue Tiger from the car, but many believe that she shattered the windows in sheer fury at the National Enquirer affair allegations. So why did she crash the windows out his car? She smashed the windows out his car, indeed, symbolically with a golf club. Now, she said she was trying to rescue him, but they were saying, well, then allegations were surfacing right at the time. The National Enquirer later reported that Woods admitted to having affairs with over 120 women while he was married to this lady. Golly. Speculation grew so rabid that Tiger Woods eventually admitted to rampant infidelity. He made a televised public apology in February 2010, where he apologized to his wife, with whom he shares 2 children, and announced that he would be stepping back from competitive golf for a period of time. He said, "I want to say to each of you simply and directly, I'm deeply sorry For my irresponsible, selfish behavior, the issue involved here was my repeated irresponsible behavior. I was unfaithful. I had affairs. I cheated. What I did is not acceptable, and I'm the only person to blame. Despite his apology and a stint at an addiction rehab, his wife and he finally finalized their divorce in August 2010, and she received a $100 million divorce settlement payout. Ooh, girl, get your money. Meanwhile, life on the course was taking a brutal toll on Tiger Woods' physical health. He's undergone 7 spinal surgeries over the years. He has chronic pain and apparently a dependency on pain medication. That sucks. Now, in April 2017, he had major spinal fusion, and a month later, it was surely no coincidence he was arrested for being found unresponsive in his car. It had visible damage to the front bumper and 2 flat tires. So it's giving Wolf of Wall Street vibes when he got on the Quaaludes. While the police reported that Woods did not have alcohol in his system at the time of the crash, he told them that he had taken multiple types of prescription medication, including Vicodin, Dilaudid, they call that hospital heroin, by the way, Xanax, Ambien, and 420. He was, at that point, finally that time, charged with the DUI, but the charge then was dropped as part of a plea deal that saw him plead guilty to reckless driving instead. Following his arrest, he checked into a clinic to get help for his dependency on pain medication, which he said he had relied on for pain management after his back surgeries, and he had a sleeping disorder. But his trouble with cars was far from over. In February 2021, okay, so a few years goes by, 5 years or so, he crashed for a third time, plowing his SUV into the median divide while speeding in Los Angeles before hitting a tree and flipping over. This time, Tiger Woods incurred significant injuries to his right leg and ankle, with his bone breaking through the skin, requiring emergency surgery. That one, though, he did not face any criminal charges. His romantic life after his split from his wife was proven to be every bit as troublesome as his driving. In March 2023, Erica Herman filed 2 lawsuits against Tiger Woods. The couple had split the previous year after dating for 5 years. In one of the 2 lawsuits, Herman asked to be removed from the NDA that she signed in 2017 when they first became romantically involved, citing the Speak Out Act, which nullifies NDAs in cases of assault. We talked about this exact thing just recently on the Shia LaBeouf FKA Twigs. They have an NDA in place, and she's basically saying she shouldn't be held to it because of this law. Now, according to Tiger's ex of 5 years, Erica Herman, she alleged that Tiger Woods harassed her while she was working at his restaurant in Florida, and also alleged that he pursued an sexual relationship with her and then made her sign an NDA. Now, Tiger Woods, for his part, has denied this. Her request for being let out of the NDA was denied. Her other lawsuit accused Tiger Woods of breaking an oral agreement with her trust that would have allowed her to live at one of his properties for 5 more years after their breakup. Lawyers for Tiger Woods insisted that this woman was only allowed to live on the property while she was dating Tiger Woods, and she sued, claiming she was owed $30 million under the Florida Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, but she dropped both lawsuits in November 2023, retracted her allegations of harassment, and stated that she was never a victim of abuse or harassment. By the end of the following year, reports were circulating that Tiger Woods had begun dating Vanessa Trump. Oh, girl, the drama. In March 2025, so like about a year ago, Tiger Woods made the relationship official in the only way couples do these days, with an Instagram post that read, "Love is in the air and life is better with you by my side." Okay, there was their hard launch, but no one was by the 50-year-old side when he failed his sobriety test last Friday. Instead, he cast a beleaguered and diminished figure with the police report, noting that he was sweating profusely and claiming that he had not consumed any alcohol or illegal substances. Okay, there they are. That's Vanessa Trump, Donald Trump's former daughter-in-law. Tiger did admit to taking a few prescription medications and he refused a urinalysis test. Police found during their search that Tiger had also had 2 hydrocodone pills, a powerful opioid, and that was all in his pocket. 2 hydrocodone pills were in his pocket at the time of the crash. He told police he called President Donald Trump after his arrest and was later charged with DUI with property damage and a refusal to submit to a lawful test. He spent 8 hours in jail before being released on bail. He has pled not guilty to the charges, and he has also announced that he will be stepping away from competitive golf. Again, this is not the first time he's announced this, to seek treatment and focus on his supposed health. He said, "I know and understand the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today." He said, "I'm stepping away for a period of time to seek treatment and focus on my health. This is necessary for me to prioritize my well-being and work toward lasting recovery. I'm committed to taking the time needed to return in a healthier, stronger, and more focused place, both personally and professionally. It is impossible not to hear in the latest mea culpa an echo of the one he made so publicly 16 years ago when he admitted to his infidelities and shouldered all the blame for his behavior. Because however sincere his efforts and hopes, the sad truth is he's been here before many, many times." Ooh. Okay, well, that's what's going on with him. That sounds like some drama, huh? That sounds like some drama. Yeah. Okay, we did Nancy Guthrie. We did the fake Birkin. Okay, let's go Epstein disguises. Epstein and billionaire shrink pal emailed about disguises and plastic surgery for trouble avoidance. Okay, so this is now, we're talking about the Epstein area of the Epstein section of today's video. Epps exclusive, because it's exclusive. Epstein and billionaire shrink pal, shrink means like psychologist or whatever, emailed about disguises, plastic surgery for escaping the law. Documents show. Okay, let's do reader view show. An email between Jeffrey Epstein and billionaire shrink pal runs through options for avoiding trouble with the law, including steps such as wearing disguises or undergoing plastic surgery. Documents released by the Department of Justice show. A May 1st, 2009 email from his longtime friend and confidant, Gramercy Park psychiatrist Dr. Henry Jarecki, titled "What If I Get Caught?" contains a long list of items essential to escape law enforcement. The email, fired off by an assistant, purportedly was sent because the doctor, who made his money trading commodities, was interested in writing a book on the topic. Ew. Dr. Jarecki asked me to send you the following notes along with the statement, "I'm thinking of writing a new book and I need a co-author." At that time, Epstein was nearing the end of his 13-month Florida prison sentence for solicitation as part of his 2008 non-prosecution sweetheart deal that he entered into with Pam Bondi, lest he forget. Or Alex Acosta. Pam Bondi was involved. The email in the supposed Epstein files lays out a 7-point plan to live on the lam, starting with items like don't use credit cards, computer security, trouble avoidance, and ends with mentions of going into hiding overseas. One of the more eyebrow-raising sections in the email is titled Post-Trouble and lists disguises, plastic surgery, and document generation, birth certificates, driver's licenses. It also states, quote, gather evidence on veracity and character of victims and prosecution witnesses, private detectives, and internet. Look at them scheming. Another point lists the importance of multiple passports. Oh my God, it was this guy from this picture. Ew. Epstein is known to have used a fake Australian passport to travel to the United Kingdom, France, and Saudi Arabia between 1982 and 1983. This is according to the FBI. The passport featuring Epstein's photo and the name Marius Robert Fortelny was found in a locked safe when the feds raided his Upper East Side mansion in 2019, alongside piles of cash and dozens of diamonds. He was hoarding diamonds and cash like a little freaking dragon gremlin. My precious. That was another point listed in the 2009 email from Jarecki. Have a stash of cash ready. How much is enough? The last section in the 2-page email titled Flight mentions extradition laws in Germany, Israel, and Brazil. This suggests the predator may have considered escaping to one of these far-flung countries. And there's the fake passport. Or maybe it's a real passport. I don't know. It also lists money abroad, family contact when hiding overseas. Jarecki, who's now 92 years old, wrote one book since that email. A 2021 memoir entitled An Alchemist's Way: How to Make Luck Look Like Skill. Ugh. He authored previous research books called Modern Psychiatric Treatment and Scholar Rescue in the Modern World. Despite the 2-decade age difference, the two men had a close relationship. According to the Epstein files, Jarecki traveled on Epstein's jet, the Lolita Express, and the two hung out in the Caribbean, according to the DOJ files. The shrink also wrote a note in Epstein's infamous 50th birthday book referring to the creep liking to work in private, or better yet, under secrecy. The two kept in regular contact. Epstein emailed Jarecki the morning of July 22nd, 2009, home and free. That was to announce that he had been released from custody in Palm Beach. An enthusiastic Jarecki was so excited he got the email. He wrote him back the same afternoon, I hope you do not come to your senses, and wins the party. In another exchange in 2011, so 3 years later, Epstein scolded Jarecki about his behavior with the girls. Oh, shoot. He said, you drive away these girls. They start out open to a love relation and you torture and mistreat each. They are ready to love. Others are ready to be friends. Others business associates. It poisons the water for future candidates as the reputation becomes widespread. Oh, he fussed at this one with the man titties. Jarecki has been accused of R-word by one of Epstein's victims after she was allegedly sent to the shrink for depression. Do y'all remember the Mark Epstein email, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, where he was like, do you remember the name of the shrink that you used to send your victims to? If you donate with PayPal or Cash App, drop a heart in the chat and let us know you donated. Yes, please. I can't take super chats or super stickers yet on this new channel. The monetization is still undergoing review for this channel. Let me see. Let's see if I'll have any updates here. It keeps like bouncing it back because it thinks that it's like I'm trying to like repeat an account or something, but I'm not. It's for like a totally different thing. Let me see. Nope, still under review. So if you do want to donate, if you do want to contribute in any way to the channel, you can make a contribution via Cash App, PayPal, or the legal fund, which is linked down below. The legal fund does go to separate bank account. It goes straight to the legal fund bank account. The other ways will go, just to me generally, and we'll go back into the channel. The former longtime Yale faculty member, hold on. Given what we know, hold on, where am I? Alleged wealthy, well-connected, so I can go to. Okay, he's been accused of R by one of Epstein's victims already after she was allegedly sent to the shrink for depression. A former model claimed she was sent to Jarecki in 2011 when Epstein gave her a mental health referral, calling him the best doctor in New York City. This was according to a 2024 complaint. So this complaint that this lady made was not after the Epstein files. It was before. Jeffrey Epstein had claimed that this was apparently the so-called, quote, best doctor in New York City. The complaint in 2024 alleged that the wealthy, well-connected psychiatrist, that's this Gillespie guy, Molesky, we should call him Molesky, was Epstein's go-to doctor to treat his victims. Oh, I wonder if this is the one Mark said, who did you use to send your victims to? Apparently, he also shared confidential medical information with Jeffrey Epstein about these girls, and it shielded him from law enforcement. Jarecki is a billionaire who owns 2 private islands. He's even bigger problem than Jeffrey Epstein. He only had 1. And the British Virgin Islands near Epstein has called the relationship with the accuser consensual, non-secretive, and mutually respectful. The accuser voluntarily dismissed her lawsuit in this past November. A spokesperson for Jarecki's business office says the email was intended as humorous advice to someone about to be released from prison for crimes he maintained were fabricated. He said the crimes were fake. Okay, so let's just take his word for it. He looks like a completely trustworthy guy. Look at him. Just look at him. Given what we now know about the nature and seriousness of Epstein's crimes, the humorous tone of the email written 17 years ago was completely inappropriate. Had Dr. Jarecki then possessed the information that later became public, he would have unequivocally disavowed any relationship with Epstein. His office representative said, adding that Jarecki now suffers from advanced dementia. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? He has advanced dementia and is non-communicative. Oh, okay. Well, isn't that convenient? The former longtime Yale faculty member, who's now a billionaire who owns 2 islands and has such bad dementia he can't talk, supposedly, became uber wealthy trading commodities on future markets. Money changer. Okay, that's what that is. He's the father of acclaimed filmmaker Andrew Jarecki, who is known for his true crime investigations that include the series The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst. I don't know who that is. Another of the psychiatrist's sons, Nicholas Jarecki, is also a Hollywood filmmaker. Okay, these are money changers. Got it. Best known for his 2012 film Arbitrage, featuring Richard Gere. Nicholas, 46 years old, also son of this doctor, this shrink, also had a close relationship with Epstein. And this is kind of why I also I know people like to call me a conspiracy theorist, and I'll accept the title at this point, but I'm not sorry that I don't just trust any and everybody out here who says, oh, I'm a psychiatrist. You got to listen to the experts. Got to listen to the experts. Okay, well, this motherfucking guy is an expert. He was teaching at Yale for years. He's a billionaire doctor. Epstein's victims were getting sent over there. Supposedly, he was running and telling Epstein what his victims were saying. Let's hang out. When are the bracelets off? He said. The friendship went south when the pervert declined financing the film after getting an early script. So there was a film that Nicholas Jarecki asked Jeffrey Epstein to finance this Arbitrage film. And Jeffrey Epstein said, no, I'm not doing that. I don't like the script. Jarecki has said he never witnessed anything untoward by Jeffrey, but regrets some of their past interactions. Okay, so that's interesting. This, I don't know why. We'll just go to this one next. Is this politician an alien? This is more of a joke, okay? But it says, nobody has ever spoken like this man. This is an entirely new speech cadence. His arms aren't emphasizing what he is saying. They're just moving with no rhyme or reason. This is literally how an alien would speak to try and blend in. Okay, so this is supposedly, is this politician an alien? You let me know. Let me know. Is this human or alien?
250 years ago, right here at St. John's Church in Richmond, Virginia, Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death. My name is Mark Moran.
So far, it definitely looks weird, but it also looks like a Mormon guy who took a speech masters, Toastmasters type of class. That's what it looks like to me. A Mormon. His name like Spencer or something. Parker.
Saying the same thing. Today, I'm going to announce that I'm breaking free from the Democratic establishment. And I'm going to run for United States Senate as an independent. I'm doing that because I'm putting our country first. I'm putting it above these divisive issues that the left, that the right, and our corporate media control.
I also kind of feel like I'm watching like a spinoff in the same universe of like Alexander Hamilton. Like the cast and crew is about to come out. The cast and crew is about to come out in their period garb, like, you know, from the colonial era, and they're going to start singing like the world turned upside down or something. This kind of feels like that.
Big, bold ideas that will save this country. We can't afford homes. We can't afford healthcare. We're dropping bombs on another country at the behest of another country. We're entirely controlled by corporate institutions.
I mean, he wrong.
We make it so that when we take out a 30-year mortgage to buy a house, over 50% of what we pay over that 30 years, it goes to the bank. We're ripping off the middle class with our tax code that the elites.
You know what else? It kind of also reminds me of like a guy who's doing his like end of the year presentation at Wharton, and he's taking like a multimedia class or something, kind of giving that. Like he's cosplaying.
Loopholes, well, we don't. We need to simplify everything in this government. But we need to fundamentally restructure and turn this around so that it works for the people. Everything is wrong, and it's because money controls. That is not the system that our founding fathers designed. And I'm here to say that.
You ain't breaking
I'm running as an independent because this message is about much more than me. It's about the idea of America.
I'm bored.
We're 250 years in.
Oh my God, stop. Right now. Why is central casting? Why is central casting trending? Stop it now. Stop it now. President Trump holds a press conference. God is good. Is he central casting? Oh yeah, this has now been deleted, right? On a real note, I wonder if Arias go to extreme some point like central casting. Central casting. Why is that trending right now? It's trending. I know y'all just saw that. Anyway, what else? Okay, Epstein disguises. We talked about that. Oh, more on the Charlie Kirk microphone theory. Remember we kind of talked about the Charlie Kirk microphone theory? Here are the screenshots of the official DOD contract for the $500,000 shaped charge device. Shaped charge device that killed Charlie Kirk. Now, this is a theory. I'm not saying I believe the theory. I'm just sharing what I saw with y'all. It specifies a miniature, extra small demolition charge, anti-personal, extra small. Not only did they ask for a miniature one, they wanted a miniature one that was extra small. The mic on Charlie's chest had no problem housing a shaped charge device. So if you missed the theory last time, they try to say that it was, some people, I was bored. It was really bored. Some people are out here with the theory that Charlie Kirk was not shot and assassinated. He didn't die from getting shot. He died because the microphone he was wearing was actually an explosive device and blew up. And there's probably shrapnel all over everything. And that's why they had to pave back over everything. And then the company that made it, Advanced Applied something or another, shut down since, went bankrupt, got blown up, got set on fire, something. Sorry, I had to send a text. Would be nice to know who ordered this device and make them testify what it was used for. Oh, wait. And make them testify what the device was used for. The place that made this device was blown up a week after the theory about it went viral, about an explosion under Charlie Kirk's shirt. Literally 1 week after they saw people discover this, they blew the place up. Okay, so this is the summary of the theory. Okay, again, this is a theory. A shaped charge device was purchased from a miniature explosives factory in Tennessee, which was embedded into his microphone under his shirt. A week after John Bray put forward this theory and started assembling evidence, the company that was contracted by our military to make it randomly exploded, killing everyone and completely wiping the building off the face of the earth. This is how they killed Charlie Kirk. Okay, so people are saying it was in the Cash Patel emails that leaked. I did not see that myself personally, but I have seen people saying that. People have been saying it exploded. So again, y'all, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Okay. And I'm not going to watch the incident again and again and again. So I don't know. And I would actually say y'all should probably not go watch it again and again either. But that is a theory that is out there. Speaking of which, astronauts are saying the moon landing was fake. What's this about? Oh, we got a community note. Okay, good. The claim Buzz Aldrin said the moon landing didn't happen on Conan is based on a misinterpreted and out of context clip from a 2000 interview. There was no live camera to capture the landing, was the reference. Aldrin has never said the moon landing was a hoax. Oh, okay. This is interesting. This is actually very interesting. So a lot of people in the United States, when there was the supposed moon landing in 1969, a lot of people watched it on TV. And I think it was maybe even presented as though the moon landing was happening live. But apparently it wasn't happening live. They had recorded it, and then they later on played the recording for everybody, and everybody watched it. So Buzz Aldrin, he was one of the astronauts that supposedly went to the moon. When people asked him about walking on the moon in 2000 on this Conan O'Brien show, he's like, never happened. You didn't watch me live on the moon. Didn't happen. Watch. Let me show you.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you didn't.
was
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old...
He said, we didn't watch you walk on. He said, you didn't watch me walk on the moon. There was maybe some pictures, maybe some animation of us flying through the sky, but you not watch us walk on the moon. Well, here's another supposed piece of evidence here. And another community note, but this is a different incident with the same guy, but it's also community noted.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
What somebody said, I think when people get to a certain age, they just no longer care and they just tell the truth. Wait, what's the community note? That's pretty damning. This clip is taken out of context. He said the scariest moment didn't happen, meaning a potential circuit breaker issue he fixed during the mission, not that the moon landing was fake. I don't know if that... It could have happened. It could have been scary. Okay, so maybe he's talking about the breaker didn't break. Okay. Okay. So I think I have something else. Oh, this has nothing to do with that actually, but this is like Donald Trump. Oh no, this is no. Okay, look. John Young from Apollo 12 was asked to put his hand on the Bible and swear that he was really on the moon. See for yourself how he reacted. Oh.
And they refer to you on the tape as a shot that was done during Apollo 10, where you put a transparency over the window and move the camera of the Earth and move the camera back away from the window, turn off the lights in the spacecraft, and appeared to be halfway to the moon when in fact they were in Earth orbit.
Huh, really?
Yeah, they said it was the same way that you did it on Apollo 10. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to put your left hand on the Bible, to raise your right hand, to swear to God. Well, you were giving an opportunity to swear to God under oath that you walked on.
No, I don't do that.
Well, if you really walked on the moon, what's the problem with
Watch
swearing?
the dramatic music. He won't swear. Ain't no community note on this one.
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon. If you walked on the moon, we're giving you the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
We're giving you... Oh my God. He said, we're giving you an opportunity to swear that you walked on the moon. He said, I'm giving you the opportunity to get the hell up out of my face. Y'all, that was like, I think the most damning one. Okay, well, do with all of that what you will. There's a lot of community notes out here. Okay, that's what I'll say. Next question. What are they hiding in Antarctica while we're at it? What are they hiding in Antarctica? What's they hiding over there? This is what they are hiding, according to Matrix Bot. Holy mackerel. This is one of the most compelling testimonies as to what's happening in Antarctica that I've ever heard. Girl, what is he going to say? I didn't even watch this video. Who knows what he's going to say?
I will start, since we have to be brief. I have already given all pertinent information and supporting documentation to the Senate Intelligence Committee and Arrow. They informed me that all of my information will be recorded for public record and shared with Congress. It is that important. In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. I function in a dual-role capacity as a tradesman and a firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of the crew. And
let me offer a counterpoint. Apparently, the clip we just watched is not a true clip, or is it a true clip? It's from a movie called Astronauts Gone Wild, but is it like a skit? Is it fake? Okay, I don't know. If it's fake, let me know. Thank you. Back to Antarctica.
Access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more.
Oh.
The ice cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs that are embedded in the ice, can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each.
Okay.
That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster than light vehicles moving throughout the system, we're going to need faster than light communications. This is that facility.
If they're going faster than light.
Unfortunately, I have other bad news. The season that I was there, 2010 to 2011, we converted from construction to operations and maintenance in both the elevated station and the detector array.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Oh,
those two incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now, and what Raytheon's hiding. There's an ELF system at the South Pole Station that when I arrived, I was told it was off, dismantled, and completely defunct. In my work, I will rapidly just tell you, I had to figure out the circuitry for certain other repairs, and I found that this system is in fact completely energized, up and running, and being utilized with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well. The Atmospheric Research Observatory is in what we call the clean air sector. I witnessed myself a very powerful green laser shooting out of the top of this facility into the cosmos. This, I believe, is a secondary form of long-range communications and or a defense system. I am not saying that we need to be scared of anything that's out there, but please understand the military-industrial complex.
Girl, what am I even watching? Oh my God, they were happy to waste all our money in alleviating their fears, girl. Sorry, I had a text. Okay. So I don't know if y'all know this or not. Next topic. Alec Baldwin, Justin Bieber's father-in-law, is a freaking creepy weirdo, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all know this or not. So fans on the internet are calling him out.
Who have trouble getting a good photo. Take a look at.
Fans on the internet are calling him out. This is the father-in-law of Justin Bieber. He shared inappropriate pictures of minors in weird positions with adults, and he did this as entertainment. Alec. Right. Excuse me. I've been saying dad. Beep. Wrong. His uncle-in-law. Justin Bieber's dad is not Alec. Hailey Bieber's dad is not Alec. Hailey Bieber's dad is Steven, who's Alec's brother. Okay, so let me get that right. So it's his uncle-in-law. So it's basically like Justin Bieber's uncle by marriage. He's a weirdo. That's the one I'm talking about. Steven also kind of freaks me out. This is Alec Baldwin's niece, Hailey, is rumored, and these are rumors, unsubstantiated, just rumors from the internet, rumored that not only is she Justin's wife, but also his supposed industry handler. And these rumors date back for, very long time. Here's Alec Baldwin being weird on Ellen.
The only ones who have trouble getting a good photo. Take a look at this montage of kids innocently meeting theme park characters. Imagine me.
Okay, I'm going to turn down the music. Okay, so wait, he's theme park. Wait. I don't understand what the compilation of the theme park characters. Ew. Right. So this is supposed to be like ha ha ha, and it's just innocent pictures of kids. Totally fine, but like the fact that he wanted to put these together in this way is disturbing, I'll say. It's disturbing that he would put these together. I mean, again, these are just kids at Disney World, like just posing, you know, with animals or whatever, but look, even he's like, what was that?
Now my Disney photos don't look too bad.
He said, now my Disney photos don't look too bad. Okay, that was weird, right? That was weird, right? I have another thing about him. Hold on. He went on. Okay, so then this one is actually Hailey Bieber's father. And he said, the devil runs Hollywood, but he's not part of the Hollywood elite system, so he can speak freely on it. All of them are involved, and none of them can escape. So like your brother, I'm just wondering, can you clarify for us? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, wait, there's another ice wall thing about Antarctica here. I forgot to click. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. It's a proposed community note. I'm glad the community notes pop up after I put these on the list. Okay, this is supposed to be for the first time in history. This could be AI or whatever. Due to Starlink, someone live streamed the legendary ice wall in Antarctica. What's the community note say? The live stream shows a glacier in Patagonia, Argentina. This is not in Antarctica, and this is not a ice wall. The streamer said he was in Patagonia, not Antarctica. Okay, so we won't even watch it then. I don't want to perpetuate misinformation. Okay, so yeah, those Baldwins, huh? Anyway, let me do my little strike through here. Is this politician an alien? We did the Charlie Kirk microphone theory. Bronx district attorney tries to run twice after being caught trying to meet a 13-year-old. Here's a 50-second clip. Bronx district attorney. So if anybody's abusing the kids out in the Bronx, it's the district attorney's office that would be in charge of prosecuting, right? Okay, well, here's what the district attorneys over there are doing in the Bronx.
Excuse me, everybody! This man right here! 13-year-old boy! Let's go! Let's go! Get his bitch ass. He's trying to fuck the 13-year-old boy.
Oh no.
Yes,
oh, I'm not showing it. I'm not showing that part. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's what that's what our electeds are out here doing. This is what he looks like in the blurred screenshot. They said, is that an alien or some shit? What TF is that? And I mean, I'm wondering as well. This is in the section officials behaving badly. That's the segment we're in right now. Speaking of officials behaving badly, we do have a bimbo exposing DC officials. DC Escort reveals the bimbo mad politicians who love her, and the bedroom move that drives married Republicans crazy. This is an exclusive from the Daily Mail. DC Escort reveals the bimbo mad politicians who love her. Once confined to the dark corners of the internet, the Daily Mail's recent revelations about Brian Nome thrust the bimbofication fetish into the mainstream. S-workers in Washington, D.C. said the kink has been growing for years, especially among conservatives. S-workers in Washington, D.C. said the kink has been, a search for bimbo or doll on service websites yields pages of highly augmented women offering services. For example, Angel Del Real is 23 years old and one of them. She charges $3,000 per hour for VIP sessions, catering to wealthy clients seeking escape from their tightly controlled public personas. Del Real has spent thousands on her appearance, enlarging her breasts, enhancing her features with fillers, and undergoing full body laser treatments. She describes herself as a Barbie doll and said it's about giving them what they want, the fantasy the look, the way I act. Many clients seek the bimbo experience. Eesh. Yuck. She should ask for her money back. Poor thing. Okay, this is you're familiar with him, and that's balloons. Anyway, hyper sexualized, exaggerated femininity, absurdly large you-know-whats, extreme curves, heavy makeup, tight clothing, and airheadedness, playing dumb and coquettish. In DC, the politicians love me. I'll keep it at that, she said, describing clientele. And she said it heavily skews Republican. Daily Mail accessed a popular escorting website to show the range of bimbo and doll workers available in DC. Searches turned up a wide array of escorts, many with surgically enhanced figures, fuller lips, and elaborate cosplay outfits. Del Real said her look has appealed to men who project modesty and traditional values publicly, but privately, they crave novelty. Experts told the Daily Mail that bimbo kinks attract men raised in sexually conservative or repressed environments who have shame around sexuality or want to break free from stereotypes. Sometimes they too dress up in feminine clothing and wear fake you-know-whats, as was the case with Noam, husband of former Homeland Security Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Noem promoted Christian values, attended local churches in South Dakota, and emphasized traditional Midwestern family life. Yet, the Daily Mail revealed that for years he operated under the alias of Jason Jackson, spending more than $25,000 on content while dressing in exaggeratedly feminine outfits and using balloons under his shirt. The revelations sent shockwaves through the political world, but for Del Real, the bimbo, the headlines were barely surprising. She said it mirrored what she already knew. Among her most requested moves is a facial expression borrowed from Japanese pop culture, a hallmark of bimbofication aesthetic. And this is also lolly. Okay, they're gooning to this. It's called Agueroa face. You cross your eyes, stick out your tongue, and drool a little bit and bounce up and down. This is crazy. Oh, this is some incel stuff. The expression conveys a loss of control, lack of intelligence, and complete submission. It is a symbol of performative sexual submission. Okay, so this is one of her most requested moves, is this facial expression. Another bizarre but increasingly popular request is for widely exaggerated, high-pitched moans, like a hi-ya in a Valley Girl accent. The unsettling trends stem from an increasingly fetishized online environment where young people in particular adopt and circulate these expressions. It's a startling example of how hyper-sexualized anime, pornography, and meme culture are spilling into the real world, sometimes reshaping cultural norms across America in extreme ways. But not everything happens on a bedroom laptop. Some clients seek companionship at meals and events where she maintains the fantasy bimbo persona, playing dumb and naive. Other DCS workers told the Daily Mail they too are sought out by mostly conservative men and GOP-linked figures. One male escort described a 2-year relationship with a Midwestern congressman who maintained a conventional public image, but pursued a different private lifestyle. So this is the crossed eyes. This is so stupid. This is what they're requesting. Encounters often begin with dinners at Butterworth's, a popular MAGA hangout, before private all-night sessions. The contradiction is not entirely unexpected. Studies suggest individuals promoting traditional values are just as likely, sometimes more, to explore taboo fantasies drawn by the allure of forbidden behavior. 2020 study by Malcolm and Simone Collins found conservatives reported higher arousal across a range of kinky interests. Demand for bimbofication content has skyrocketed in recent years. Data from Clips for Sales shows a 208% sales increase tied to the trend since 2023. It goes further than just being superficial. People will argue it's anti-feminist, and I'm one of those people. Okay, so that's weird. That is freaking weird. So, what about the time the Broward County Sheriff cooked up drugs so it could sell them back to people and arrest them for using the drugs that they had cooked up? Well, that actually did happen years ago. For 3 years, the Broward County Sheriff's Office cooked up large amounts of its own drugs so it could sell the drugs to people. And the deputies would then arrest the people for buying the drugs. Okay, yes. Broward County to vacate convictions for people who bought drugs made by the sheriff's office. For 3 years, the sheriff's office produced its own C word, so it could sell it to people that the deputies would then arrest for buying it. It was a practice the Florida State Supreme Court repeatedly described as outrageous. In its 1993 ruling that such reverse stings violated an individual's right to due process. More than 30 years later, a routine audit of documents found hundreds of those arrests and convictions, and they're still in the books and part of people's criminal records. On Friday, the state, this is last year, 2 years ago, this article came out, but I just thought it was so egregious. I wanted to tell y'all about it. The state attorney for Broward County, Harold Pryor, announced his office planned to do something about that. It's never too late to do the right thing, he said. These records may be a dim memory or an unfortunate part of history to many, but they have had long-lasting and severe impacts on the lives of people who were arrested, as well as their families and the wider community. The state attorney's office explained that despite the Supreme Court's decision, many of the cases were not ever vacated. They kept these people in jail. That means they could still weigh on the lives of those prosecuted under this unconstitutional program, affecting their ability to get a job, find a home, or appear in criminal history checks. Anyone who thinks they may be affected by the efforts is asked to reach out to the state attorney's office, according to numbers cited in the statement. Some estimates have placed the number of cases as high as 2,600. Broward County Sheriff Gregory Toney was made aware of the plan to vacate or remove the judgments and sentences for those who were arrested and convicted as part of those reverse stings, and he supports the plan. These matters were well before our tenures. However, I am of the opinion that the state has an ethical duty and obligation to correct this injustice before destruction of old records is initiated. Many of the records discovered during the audit were still on hand, even though they were past the statutory requirement to be retained. Some of them were slated for possible destruction. And this reminds me of the fact that Bam Margera was illegally trafficked, in my opinion, by the Broward County Sheriff's Department. I think they might be in on this Florida shuffle stuff. That's just something I hope that, the Department of Homeland Security investigates. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But that's just my opinion. Let me close some of these tabs. How crazy was the Becca Bloom Birkin saga? Oh, let's talk about that rude judge that was mean to the IT worker. Did you know he's bankrupt, or was? The Harris County judge in hot water for viral videos showing questionable courtroom conduct filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy last year, citing nearly $70,000 in debt. This was reported by the local Houston News. First on 2, viral judge filed for bankruptcy last year, listed nearly $70,000 in debt. There he is right there, looking kind of like, who does he look like? He looks like a Weasley mixed with like maybe Scott Disick and something else. Maybe actually, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son that's in the White Lotus. He kind of looks like him. He definitely got cortisol through the roof. Okay, here's the picture of the bankruptcy filing, or a section. $69,000 in debt, and that man is talking to everybody else like he's better than them. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like this, for example, when he told this lady he was smarter than her. He told his subordinate, "I'm much smarter than you." Well, not smart enough to avoid bankruptcy, apparently. Jerk judge who was rude to IT worker has a long history of obnoxious, entitled behavior. An innocent IT worker who got on the wrong side of an obnoxious Texas judge will not face any punishment over the incident, as further examples of the judge's apparent obnoxious behavior came to light. A video showing Harris County Judge Nathan Milliron berating the worker as he came to offer IT support. Court went viral. IT support in court went viral when it was released on social media. The county will not discharge, demote, or otherwise discriminate against an employee who is properly performing his or her duties. Spokesperson for the district court administration came out and said on last Wednesday, the IT worker in the video has not been publicly identified and has not yet given his side of the story. And here's the little gremlin judge. In the video, Judge Milliron is seen losing his cool with the worker during a maybe he's so stressed because of money. Maybe it's because he's broke. Maybe he owes the mafia money or something. He lost his cool with the worker during a tense exchange over an apparent audio problem. You don't have to go too far, the IT worker tells the judge as he gets up from the bench. You just joined from your audio here, right? The judge said yes. Moments later, the worker said everything was good before the judge returned to the bench. When the IT worker quipped that it was a false alarm, Judge Milliron responded by sharply telling him not to joke around and ultimately ordering him to leave the courtroom and calling his supervisor. Jesus Christ, I'm sick and tired of this bull beep today, the judge said in the clip, which has now been viewed millions of times. This is why we need, put a 6 in the chat if this is why we need cameras in all courtrooms. In the wake of the viral video, emails emerged showing the judge snapping at subordinates and hitting out at what he called was his office's ineptitude. In one obtained email dated August 12th, 2025, the judge lays into a district clerk's office employee, identified only as Lisa. Lisa, you got an email today, right? Own it. I'm the district judge, and you are absolutely a subordinate. Lisa, you heard something that you didn't advance, right? I probably have the email you got. I'm much smarter than you, Lisa. I will post this email, he continued. In an earlier email dated May 10th, 2025, the judge expressed his frustrations in his correspondence with District Clerk Marilyn Burgess. Oh, I've definitely seen this name before somewhere. Maybe I requested documents from her. My court will no longer be stagnant because of the district clerk's office ineptitude. This is no longer an ask. Give me a clerk that responds to me and does the job, he said in the email. The judge's apparent conduct has now sparked direct and highly unusual complaints from fellow members of the legal community. I listened to it and it offended me as a citizen. But I'm also a lawyer, longtime criminal defense attorney James Stafford told KPRC2. I've never seen a judge act this way. His conduct was way out of hand. This is the guy that wrote to the judge the first time he had done so in 5 decades of, oh my God, this man had been practicing law for 50 years. Judge Milliron responded to Stafford's letter by telling him that he probably shouldn't be communicating with the judge ex parte. So the judge is like, don't talk to me ex parte on my judicial email address. The lawyer has said he does not intend to comply with what he called an unenforceable order. Now, the most senior lawyer in the county is planning to attend the April 9th meeting as he slammed Judge Milliron's conduct. Our organization stands up for good judges who do the right thing and against bad judges who don't. This is from Brent Mayer, president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. He said in a social media video, by now, he said, many of you have seen or heard about this Harris County judge treating a court staff employee in an absolutely inappropriate and humiliating manner. There is no question that judges should not act like that. The judge did not respond immediately for requests for comment. Okay, and there is an interview. We're not going to watch it on my video today, but I do want to show it to you. There's an interview with the lawyer who emailed that judge, if y'all want to take a look at it. Attorney speaks out. I guess we can watch it, actually. It's only 2 minutes, 42 seconds. A viral video showing questionable behavior. The title is Attorney Speaks Out After Houston Judge Viral Video.
This viral video showing questionable behavior from a Harris County judge is sparking outrage. Tonight, an attorney says he was ordered to that judge's courtroom for emailing him about his conduct. KPRC2 News reporter Jaewon Jung spoke to that attorney. She joins us now live outside the Harris County Courthouse with why he is not the only one speaking out tonight. Jaewon.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Keith. The president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association is also speaking out. Now, the attorney I sat down with today says in his decades-long career, he's never had to send out an email to a judge about their behavior until now.
Get out of my courtroom.
By now, you've likely seen this viral video. It shows a tense exchange between Harris County Civil Court Judge Nathan Milliron and an IT worker.
This hearing is done.
She's asking for a sign.
Deputy, remove her from my bench now.
Tonight, another video showing Judge Milliron speaking to an attorney.
It's almost childish.
In his 52 years in law, attorney James Stafford says he's never seen a judge act this way.
His conduct was way out of hand.
Stafford tells me after watching this clip, he was so offended, he emailed Judge Milliron directly, telling him, quote, "I hope you issued him an apology for the way you treated him."
So the judge wrote, "You probably shouldn't be communicating with the judge ex parte on his judicial email address." Have you ever heard of something like that before?
I was not ex parte because I do not have any cases in his court.
Judge Milliron ordered Stafford to court on April 9th, telling him he shouldn't be emailing a judge on his judicial email address.
Do you plan to show up in his court on April 9th?
The email is not a valid order. It has no legal enforcement.
Our organization stands up for good judges who do the right thing and bad judges who don't.
Stafford isn't the only attorney speaking out. Brent Mayer, the
It is weird how he said that. We stand up for bad judges who don't do the right thing. He should have said we stand up against bad judges who don't do the right thing. Anyway, he's broke and mean. All right. The man is broke and mean. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's canceled. He's canceled as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about the Florida cop that farted in the other cop's face and got disciplined over it. Okay, at least they're disciplined somebody out here. Florida cop punished with training counseling for farting in colleague's face. This came out a few days ago, April 2nd, 4 days ago. All right, Palm Beach County, great. So we have Broward County, and now we're in Palm Beach. Palm Beach County detective was disciplined for farting in a fellow deputy's face. Public records show a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office personnel complaint filed on November 17th, 2025, alleged that detectives James Coppola had engaged in horseplay by passing gas in Deputy Joshua Mohammed's face. The complaint was not filed by the target of the rude eruption, but rather the division commander. The commander also filed a complaint against Mohammed for prohibited horseplay, presumably launched as a counteroffensive. So they're both horseplaying with each other. According to the report, Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw authorized an internal investigation into the rowdy officers. And on January 21st, the lieutenant assigned to the investigation sustained the allegations that Coppola and Mohammed, finding both had violated the rules and regulations of horseplay. Oh, impermissible horseplay with farting. The report did not detail the exact nature of Mohammed's horseplay. On both reports, under a section titled Final Disciplinary Action Taken by Agency, the option was training counseling. The option of training counseling was circled. In response to an inquiry, the PBSO, the Sheriff's Department, did not elaborate on what training counseling Coppola and Mohammed received. However, a spokesperson for the Sheriff's Department said in a written statement to Reason the following, quote, "The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office holds all employees to the highest standards in its commitment to maintaining the public's trust. While the vast majority of our employees uphold these expectations, there are instances when poor decisions result in misconduct. In this case, the actions of our deputies James Coppola and Joshua Mohammed were identified, thoroughly investigated, and determined to be clear violations of our agency policies and procedures. We remain committed to accountability and will continue to ensure that our actions reflect the professionalism and integrity our community expects and deserves." Reports obtained by the periodical through a FOIA request or the Sunshine Law request for recent complaints and disciplinary records is what showed this all happening. The state's relatively broad freedom of information law is often cited as one of the reasons Florida is an epicenter of weird news. These sorts of internal records are nearly impossible to get in other states, blocking the public from getting information on police misconduct for far more serious than two officers playing Terrence and Phillip. The PBSO records included other, more serious infractions as well, such as a deputy arriving to work drunk or negligently discharging his taser. Unfortunately, the Florida legislature has been ceaselessly chipping away at the Sunshine Law, but for now, we can still enjoy its bounty. Yeah, one of the things that got chipped away is if our death is ruled to be a suet blank, unaliving of self, then you can't get the medical examiner's report. And I feel like those are the ones that we need to be able to. So now you just call anything a suicide and then nobody ever sees the coroner's report, which is a public record or supposed to be. They farting on people out here, y'all. They are farting on people. Well, I had some other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I'm basically starving to death, so I need to go eat something. That's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, opinions ain't defamation, and neither are facts. And everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Love you, Mina K. Bye.